Eagles up the wing, Ryan nudged underneath it and easily controlled in the air by Brennan Cox.
Yeah, that's the third intercept mark already from Fremantle. Perceived pressure's kicked in a little bit for West Coast, and getting it past centre forward looks like a real challenge at the moment.
Brennan Cox goes wide. Driscoll there. McCarthy playing in the helmet today, sees the ball out of play.
It's going to be a really important factor. Just enough in there for McCarthy to create that spoil. They are very good at getting a composed possession, the Dockers, and then setting the field up and then going long to contest and getting speed off that. So that little spoil there, as you can see, Brady Hoff absolutely going with Sarong. It's going to be interesting to watch all day.
And O'Meara and Harley Reid battling. And then you get the free kick on cue. O'Meara, Harley Reid with a hold as he was getting set to attack that stoppage, and he's not happy with the call. No Wagner or Johnson in the side for Fremantle have tried to put that pressure on the stoppages on Harley Reid in previous matchups.
He did it early in the year, Jago O'Meara, when he was definitely playing that sort of big body midfield role.
Long ball in, Jackson rising over the top. And he dropped the mark in the end. He had a fair purchase of it, just didn't hold it long enough. It spilt out. Dockers denied inside 50. The Eagles under the pump trying to clear it. Marrick on the boot. Another just dump kick out, trying to clear it away. Shanahan and McDonald could tackle from the young Eagle, and it will be a ball up.
Well, that's a win for West Coast, isn't it? Conceding intercept possessions, and was this a mark or not? I think it was up until around about now. It wasn't, so a little bit unlucky, Pav.
He was unlucky. We tried it for long enough. He does double grab him a little bit, Luke Jackson.
Now Reid will get the Eagles going. Harley sends it to half forward. Cripps battles with Warner. Brennan Cox been a factor to start things. He shrugged a tackle, got it to Warner, and now some bounce off half back for the Dockers. Driscoll through for Frederick or Voss up leading at centre half forward. Eagles defence rally. Marrick, McCarthy, now Clay Hall with some space in front. One wanted the deep kick in. It almost got to him, and in front Cripps able to juggle the mark. He looked all off balance and out of position, but he will get a chance to kick the first of the game.
Well, lucks of fortune on that play. I mean, that was, I think it was meant for Liam Ryan out the back, and just skew whiffed off the side of the boot and landed in Cripps' hands, and nice little contested mark for what hopefully is the first goal for West Coast.
Jamie Cripps, seen it all before throughout his career. He's the most experienced player out there in terms of derbies. He's 22nd playing today, and he gets the Eagles off to the dream start.
It's amazing how quickly you can turn defence into attack. So Fremantle rebound off the half-back by Nathan O'Driscoll. Whether he was going for Frederick, whether he was going for Voss, he would have another look at it again. Voss almost held his lead, and then just enough to spoil, and then they go quickly, spread the ball. You make it up as you go on turnover like that, get it to your outnumber, and then here's the kick. Probably going for a bit longer, but Jamie Cripps, he's been doing that for a long time, finds himself in the right position and gets the first goal.
First goal of Derby, 61, goes to Jamie Cripps. And the Eagles trying to prove that potential banana peel for Fremantle as the Dockers look towards September. Bounce in the middle, Flynn judged it the better. Another free kick to the Dockers at the stoppage. This one going to Hayden Young. What an impact he had in the last quarter against Collingwood. Jackson held onto that one firmly. They want to get it inside 50 quickly. Strong lead from Amos. Jackson still searching for an option. Banfield pushes up. Eagles back in plenty of numbers. Tough to find a target in there. Young is one of their better kicks. He pokes it up towards Amos, but Flynn helping out in defence again.
Yeah, both Dudley and Bolton were on. Thought Young normally laser-like with that left boot. Just missed him.
Jinby took too long. Tracy ran him down with a brilliant tackle.
I don't love to say that from the big kahuna. The forward pressure from your key forward, that is just, he does it every week, this guy. But Ruben Jinby thought he had one more step in him, but he closed him quickly, did Josh Tracy. Look at this.
Yep, Ruben's not slow either, so great commitment to the play. Don't think about Fremantle's forwards. They've got great craft and good forward pressure.
Kicked a goal last week, Josh Tracy, in that win against Collingwood. It was Pat Voss who started with all the goals, but again, doing the defensive things, gets back to take marks late in games. The rundown, chasing, pressuring and tackling, but it didn't convert to a goal on that occasion.
So the ground ball at the moment, or it was early, and it certainly still is 6-1 in favour of West Coast. So outnumbering of the contest, hunting a bit more around the midfield. It's a good sign for Andrew McQualter.
McCarthy bring it back in, cut to the head. That game last week against the Tigers. That's why he's wearing the helmet today. We'll get the 1-2. He sizzles the kick up to the wing. It's been a leap by foot since coming into the side. And then Bazzo for Harley Reid.
Get some booze today, Harley. I won't mind that at all.
Seems to fire him up at times. Harley Reid, he's just going to pump a kick long up towards the 50. Flynn back into the pack. McDonald down there. Banfield, Clark along the ground for Young. It's the right boot. And he goes up for Amos. That's the get-out kick down the line.
That's a really strong grab from Jai Amos. Don't necessarily see him in those contested possessions, but just relieves all the pressure. You get to set the ground up again.
It's his season high, 4 goals in the Derby earlier in the year. Bolton, he just paid the mark. Spoil came, or is it chop of the arms actually has been called? Looked like we got there in time. There's a bit of a wrestle going on between O'Meara and Reid off the play. It's now with Murphy Reid for Fremantle on the boundary line. He kept it in play. Darcy twisting, turning to the square. Tracy with 2 to beat. Crunched in the pack. Dudley roving. Front and centre. He made his debut in a derby earlier in the year. He loves kicking a goal, and he's got the Dockers first of the game.
There's plenty going on off the ball. Jager O'Meara fighting 2 at the moment. He won't mind that, given his job today, but you can see what is going on here. 3-1 as Andy Brayshaw and the cavalry come just so there's a little bit behind the plate. That's unnecessary from Harley, and fair enough for Jager for standing up for himself and saying that's enough from you. Please take a seat. But love the craft here from Isaiah Dudley. Hey, look at you can track him there. So McCarthy's on him, next to him. Really, he leads firstly, and then look at this front and centre. That's how you play small forward footy.
All started from the Amos mark, the half back, and straight line football sometimes is the best way to play.
Back in the middle. There's Bailey Williams, knocks it down. Young extracts it to Brayshaw. They can burst out the front of the centre square. Kick inside 50, punched away. Spills back to Brayshaw. Continued the run. And Switkowski there. Hewitt almost got into the back. It'll be a ball up.
Just a couple of little fumbles early for Fremantle. Ball's bobbed out maybe 3 or 4 times, whether it's been a mark or a ground ball.
Only Reid having a quick sit on the bench. There's now Switkowski, does the roving, heaves to goal. Amos and Brock wrestle out of behind.
That was pure. That was a 450 stoppage.
He's got really good connection to Sam Switkowski with the ruckman. You can see that play often is a feature of what they do. He's been in really good form, has Switkowski, over the last 3 or 4 weeks. Come back into this side after injury, and yes, he puts pressure on and hassles the opposition, but that's another nice kick from Marek, but he's good. He's so creative as well.
One of those players not really given too many quarters through the rest of the competition, but highly rated by Fremantle. Sam Switkowski up the line. The ball's knocked away from Darcy and Bailey Williams.
Boys, I spoke to the West Coast Eagles, and Sandy Brock, it wasn't a planned change. He was sitting around not really doing too much, and then was told he had to go and get his boots on, so certainly a late one from Sandy.
Quick turnaround. Footy bounced on the top of the head there of Bailey Williams. Now Young after it, harassed by Cole. Numbers there. Bazzo almost coughed it up. Cole, Hutchinson a fumble. Pressure from Fremantle. Switkowski over it. Frederick, Brayshaw, look out. Trying to shrug a couple of tackles. But no prior, according to the umpire, and a ball up.
So, Semi, interested to see what they're doing around the stoppage. Of course, we've talked about Hoff going to Sarong, but you've also got Owies, you've also got Baker as high half forwards, you've got Clark there, and Banfield playing on them. There's a lot of numbers around the stoppage.
Williams to head out. Baker, didn't dive on that, just slide again and held up.
Fremantle have this decision to make, whether they drop off and get an extra or they come up and support the stoppage themselves.
Quick ball up, Hewitt on the boot. Banfield has it covered.
That's the drop off that you get.
Clark rolling around the back, is happy to switch things up. The sun a bit of a factor. Not too much footy played at this time of the afternoon too often, especially on a Saturday as the ball's switched up.
Yeah, it's an interesting tactical battle. So Andrew McGrath is saying, well, we want some extra numbers, particularly corridor side, to stop that Fremantle link up from the stoppage.
All along up the line. Amos after it. Jinby attacked it. Boundary line looms. Jinby fumbling after it. Happy to be just pushed over by Sarong.
Just wonder if that sun is doing anything with the Fremantle forwards. Seems to be in their eyes as it comes in. Looks a bit awkward for both clubs.
A beautiful day here in Perth. A cloud in the sky, but
Been freezing this week. Maybe not compared to some other parts of the country. You're not used,
Let's not get carried away, Adam.
not used to it too much. As up with Ryan. We'll take it for the Eagles to Hewitt, to Kelly. Inside 50. Oh, he's going back. Banfield a good spoil. Just went past Hutchinson. Then lays a good tackle. And will win the free kick.
it's a great execution from a stoppage from West Coast, from fantastic forward pressure to lock it in there. Ali Banfield just did enough to get a hand in, and then Hutchinson said, no, you're not going anywhere, Michael Frederick.
Really even first quarter so far. Hutchinson goes in. There's a very early block by Chapman. And a free kick goes the Eagles' way. Brockman was down there. Chapman blocked him out of it. Brockman went to ground. The free kick was spotted.
Was it there? That's the question. Was it a flop? Or was it there? Well, he's a lot bigger, Chapman, so I suppose maybe Brockman might have lost his footing, or maybe he just fell over in a nice ploy to get this.
There's a bit going on off the ball again here.
They're feeling in Derby number 61. And the Eagles have come to play as they try to cause the biggest of Derby upsets.
So potentially a little bit of a flop, but at the same time, you have to actually disguise your block and Shepherd. Heath Chapman, I think, just went a little bit too early here. Brockman can flop. I mean, it's not a free kick, but it's a free kick in terms of being early. Chapman not necessarily going for the ball. He's fallen over very easily.
Yeah. Well, that come from a stoppage, though. If you talk about the end result, obviously, but there was a centre-back stoppage for West Coast. They transitioned really well. Took a forward half turnover to get a repeat entry. But that's a big tick to win that clearance and get some field position from what is a real strength of Fremantle's.
12th goal of the season for Tyler Brockman. And just the 1 in 10 games last year. Really increased his output in season 2025. Back in the middle we go. Darcy was looking for body contact, and that's why the free kick is given up. Wasn't going after the foot, he went straight for the opposite ruckman. And Bailey Williams can set it high inside 50. They're wanting someone to leap. They got some tall timber. Archer Reed was down there. Spills through Hewitt, knocked away. Baker, handball over their head. He was wanting someone in the pocket. Clark dumped the kick out of defence, but Cole is waiting and willing to accept.
Another forward half turnover, and this is ideally what you want to build your game off. You get your entries, your repeat entries from front half turnovers.
Harley Reid wants it in long. He wants to tee it up. He wants to fly. He was trying to go 3 or 4 deep. Down there, Brendan Cox, and a handball out wide.
Yeah, it's what they've been good at patches for this year. West Coast is this repeat inside forward 50 work. This forward half intercept work. So they get another stoppage here, another chance to get to work.
Dockers home game. Predominantly Fremantle crowd, making plenty of noise early. At the spill, Bolton overran it. Rare fumble, Baker, Flynn, Reid, and holding the ball to call. An effective handball. And Reid dropped the footy. Is that going to be 50? Give them the benefit.
So you talked about it, Simon. They have got a bit fumbly, the Dockers. 6-day break after this steering win last week over the Pies, so just a little bit off.
Their pressure's only 160 at the moment, which is not really their MO over recent times.
Jackson strong in the air and releases Murphy Reid from one end to the other. The kick inside 50 for Boss.
That's exactly what key forwards want. A contested mark, speed off that play, because then you get a genuine one-on-one inside 450. And it was a really smart kick from Reid, just enough to get to the advantage of Voss.
Well, the vulnerability on West Coast is that speed. So Amos takes the mark centre-back last chain of possessions, and then Jackson takes the same type of mark and goes quick, and this straight-line game's working well for them at the moment.
6 goals last week, the most at the MCG by a Docker since Hayden Ballantyne in 2014, as he leans back on the kick, but he hooked it to start with. He kicked so efficiently last week with the 6 goals won.
That's a tougher one, isn't it, when you're right on 50 there, though?
Short ball in.
Just been doing this a little bit more lately, the uncontested game for West Coast. Trying to find spot kicks versus these long plays.
Kelly finding a bit of the footy in the first quarter. Disposal number 7 to start this one for the Eagles. Flynn tried a quick handball out wide. Cripps and O'Meara.
Boys, watching this closely, Caleb Sarong's getting tagged everywhere by Brady Hoff, and in the past, Freo have left him specifically on a bit of an island by himself. They're going directly at Brady Hoff. They don't want to let him alone. Very physical in the middle of the ground, going really hard at Brady.
And O'Meara trying to get to Harley Reid. Two jostling at this stoppage. Allows the likes of Murphy Reid to get clear. Finds Dudley. Two of the inclusions into Fremantle's lineup this season. Goes back to Warner. He's having a career best year for the Dockers. He stabs it back to Dudley. Patient build-up. And he tried to claim the kick, which means the player that did move on the mark is allowed to do so. Ball kicked in short. Now Brayshaw took it, thought about it, unloaded the kick, but it books away. So they're getting some scoring shots. The Dockers just haven't been able to capitalise. It's a 2-point game.
They have, but it's all been right on 50 or some tough angles. So
Danger. And the mark intercepted by Amos. He read the play perfectly.
Well, it's the second time self-inflicted turnover from West Coast. Hasn't cost them too much yet, but eventually it's going to really hurt you if you just give the ball away like that.
McCarthy out of fullback, wanted Duggan, and Amos just knew what they were doing. He's had a chip in front to take the mark. Amos kicked 2 goals from just 3 disposals last week. Generally likes to make the most of his opportunities. He bangs that one through and gives the Dockers the lead in the first quarter.
Well, for all their hard work, West Coast, to give up an easy run from a kick out is really costly. Jai Amos hitting the score, but he's actually been up and about early, Jai. He's one contested mark and been in a number of contests, and this just shows how active you have to be. So, are you switched on defensively? Yeah, I am, because I get a chance of a shot at goal. It's a giveaway if you're McCarthy, but it does show you're on defensively.
It does, and the sideshow, I suppose, is Sarong and Harley Reid. They're both getting attention, and so far Sarong hasn't touched the ball, and Harley's had 3 possessions. So we'll look at those little subplots as the game goes on, because they're going to be important parts of the game if West Coast are going to be competitive, and if Sarong can handle the tag, and what happen in the future.
And some treatment straight to the bench as we keep our eyes on this centre bounce. Is Sarong the only Docker yet to have an effective disposal of the footy? So bounced in the middle. Jackson with the jump. Flynn with the reach. Liam Ryan up there for the Eagles. Hacking it forward. Then a follow. Knocked it out of Clark's hands. Hewitt almost for Flynn. Goes back in between his legs and will be held up.
He's got a big job, Flynn, hasn't he, against these two, and he's going to need some support either from Bailey Williams or young Archer Reid.
It's the hit out forward there. Baker trying to knock it up to Cripps. Young tackled immediately. Got it out. Sarong gets a disposal there by hand to Banfield. A kick to the wing. There's a down the field free kick. Tracy had taken the mark anyway.
It was Harley Reid again. The third free kick is given away.
Tracy with the footy. Launch it up towards Voss. Strong hands. Worked his way to the front. Dockers go quickly inside 50. Murphy Reid protected the ball drop. Just couldn't hang on to the mark.
Question for you, Harvey. Clearly there's a mismatch down back at the moment for West Coast. If you're a forward and you're telling the mids just get it in there as quick as you can and not muck around with it?
Pretty much, yeah. So particularly off those long down the line plays, if you get out and you're genuinely one-on-one, let's get it in there. It may not go straight to you on the chest, but then you can get them at ground level.
Both rucks back to the boundary. Murphy Reid hassled out of it by Marek.
And particularly when you've got the likes of Murphy Reid, Shea Bolton, Isaiah Dudley, they're pretty heady. Swikowski as well, Frederick. So you may not always get them in the air, but you can also get them at ground level.
Competitive start to Derby 61. Jackson down to the front. Young ran into trouble. Brayshaw, O'Meara, Jackson back for O'Meara. Lightning hands from Fremantle. Means they can try to set up an inside 50. Banfield. Clark off a step. Hits it to the hot spot. Tracy in a wrestle from the side. Mark was dropped. Jinby tries to clear it out. Docker's still a chance. O'Driscoll down there. Putting the pressure on. The Eagles scrambling to hold firm. They do. And we get a ball up.
I think this could be the the theme of the game, the tolls for Fremantle. And, you know, if you're West Coast, you're probably not flying for marks as we see a player down.
Yeah, Boss has just gone to Harley Reid and given away the free kick off the play. There's been a lot going on off the ball in this first quarter in this local rivalry.
Did we expect anything less?
I don't think so in this contest, especially in the first quarter.
There's always a subplot. There's always a narrative.
Doesn't matter where they are. First quarter in particular, always very hotly contested. And another whistle off the play, and Voss again, I think, involved. Hewitt's going to get the free.
So both Harley Reid and Pat Voss just need to calm down. So here's Pat Voss. Yeah, he can't do that. It's a free kick.
Reid, where Voss is going to come across well off the ball and make the contact there like that.
There's a fine line, isn't there, between being tough and acting tough. You know, I mean, Harley, I'm sure, reflects on some of the things he does as well, but trying to rev up the players to get them to go hard at the ball rather than hard at the man.
Flynn controlled it down, but straight to Brayshaw, who was on the move at the stoppage to Switkowski. Open forward line, open there for Bolton. Well done, Cole. Knocked it down at the spill, though, Dudley. And trying to get in there. Hutchinson committed himself. Spills away O'Driscoll. Fremantle just with the extra number. Dudley into the pocket for Frederick.
So this has been the issue that West Coast have been trying to stop, that corridor ball movement from a stoppage. Andy Brayshaw on this occasion connected really well with his ruckman and it allowed that open side play. So Fremantle end up in the pocket, but they did have an opportunity to go even closer to goal by virtue of their good stoppage work.
Frederick, tough angle. Goes the drop part, working it back to perfection. Frederick with the finish.
Well, look for some spot fires as we go back to the middle, but you're right, having the scores from stoppages. We see this here, that wide open space for Brayshaw to get on the move, and you don't want to concede a corridor-shaped ball movement from a clearance. It puts the defenders under enormous pressure. We spoke about the ground level players in the front half for Fremantle. If they don't get you in here, they'll get you at ground level. So another turnover and a really good finish.
That's a tough kick from Michael Frederick. You can see what that stoppage does when you get corridor and you get that type of clean ball movement. Yeah, tough kick, wonderful kick from Michael Frederick, but it's the stoppage work that sets it up.
Yeah, they've kicked 2 goals, 1 so far from clearances, which is a little bit of an alarm bell if you're West Coast.
A 10-point margin. It's Darcy. On it down, Young, Sarong, they break forward again. It's away to Frederick, just kick one, fleet of foot with the side step. He's got another! 3 on 4.
We just highlighted what it's done in terms of their score from stoppage and the gap in the game at the moment. Well, there it is again, the connection between Darcy and Young, and then it's just checker game, if you like. Brilliant finish from Michael Frederick again. So let's have a look. Just his secondary little tap there, over the back, out the front of the stoppage. First give, and then get away from him if you can, because that's just a great shot at goal. And it was quiet last week, Michael Frederick, but he started this one hot.
He has, and they've had 5 shots with clearances so far. More importantly, from 5 different areas of the ground. So defensive 50, centre bounce, between the arcs, and a forward 50 stoppage have all had an opportunity to score from those plays. So it's been an issue for West Coast all year, and this team's probably the best at it.
Michael Frederick with 2 goals in 12 seconds. After the restart, that one happened so quickly. Darcy to Brayshaw, and now Young out of the centre. And that kick goes in towards Tracy with strength. Pump Jimby out of it. Eagles defence under siege, and it's going to be a baller.
3 minutes to go, Pav. You're probably going to start landing on something if you're West Coast. Just try and, you know, the quarter's been okay, but yeah, I want to concede another one.
Donkers dominating time in forward half through the last 10 minutes. Kelly, Duggan had an arm clear.
Did.
And maybe sometimes elsewhere on the ground that might be paid.
That's the strength that Fremantle brought in the last 6 weeks, that forward pressure or pressure all over the ground.
Flynn with the hit out. Duggan trying to fend again. Another great tackle. Dudley certainly up for the contest in this first quarter.
So you're activating someone behind the ball if
Well,
West Coast?
Difference in pressure, huge between these two sides in the last 10 minutes. Fremantle really putting the foot down as they keep it locked in their forward half with a good mark to McDonald.
Well, they sort of had to because their first 10 minutes wasn't great pressure-wise, but it's right up now.
They use it back in. Luke Jackson set himself off hands.
Yeah, look, when you put one behind the play, then you just live in your back 50. So, you know, if you're getting an even game, you would, but this just all hands on deck at the moment.
Darcy to the pocket. And a free kick to Hayden Young for a hold at the stoppage. And the Dockers will take it. The crowd only just aware of it. And a chance to add yet another.
He's looked dangerous, hasn't he?
Not sure Hayden was aware of it either.
No, but he's looked dangerous the last 5 minutes when he's had 7 disposals, and he's so lethal with that left foot when he gets shoulders out facing his forward 50. Let's have a look at the replay. So he's on the move. Just a tug of the jumper, not much in that, gee whiz.
I'm going to square up for the Brockman one.
One earlier, it's the free kick to Fremantle. Young smashes it through. And he's pumped up in Derby 61. And he's thrilled to be back out there.
It shows you the depth of this midfield group too. Have with the Sarong tag, he allows others to get involved in the game. You know, puts blocks on, they block for him, but in the end, Brayshaw's now up to 9 possessions. Young is up to 8, and Sarong will play a role. It'll be a different one today if it's a tight tag.
That's why Hayden Young is so important to this Fremantle team. He's been out for so much of this season, but you add him to the mix with Brayshaw, Sarong, Amira, so let's have a look at this. Hayden Young's already had the 5 clearances, so it just highlights how important he is. If you get your best players out there playing, what a difference he can make to this Fremantle midfield.
Dockers making their move. 2 minutes to go in this first quarter. They've opened it up to a 22-point margin. Darcy battles with Flynn. Wrestled it away from Young, and then the big man gets the step going. Out to Brayshaw, runs away from Harley Reid, drives it inside 50. Marek dropped the mark. The pressure again there from Fremantle. And then Dudley over the top, and that error just keeps it locked in the forward 50 for Freo.
And now what Justin Longmuir is doing is saying, okay, Luke Jackson, you go forward, play alongside Tracy and also Voss, so Amos comes to the wing.
Amos haven't been able to get their hands on the footy the last 10 minutes. Dudley back through the traffic. Hayden Young for number 2. They are doing as they please. And Young showing the kind of impact he can have.
He does it with his left foot, does it with his right foot. That's clearance number 6 for Hayden Young. Thank you very much. Can you believe? And they've kicked 4-3 from stoppages in this first quarter. That is just off the charts.
Look, I think, unfortunately for West Coast, there's not a lot you can do at the moment. You've got a really young backline with limited experience. I mean, Liam Duggan and maybe Tom Cole, the 2 guys who can hold up, but the rest of them are quite young. And they look vulnerable every time it goes in, whether it's in the air early in the quarter or at ground level and clearance. So,
+8 from clearance, +3 from centre square bounce, and it's 7 shots a goal. They're just all over them at the moment, the Dockers.
Great work from Isaiah Dudley to get that handball out to Hayden Young, who finished off the good work. And he scores from stoppage. 4 of the 6 goals for Fremantle coming from that. 7 scoring shots in total. They're dominating that area. Holding free kick. This time goes to Bailey Williams. A little unsure who it was going to. Eagles desperately need one before quarter time as Jinby pumps it in long. Darcy got back into the road of Shanahan, and Brendan Cox another intercept mark in this first quarter.
He's had a few, hasn't he? What's that? Number 3 already for Brendan Cox. He's up to 5 disposals, so just need a contest, don't you, from your key forward on that occasion?
well, it was Flynn playing full forward because Bailey Williams was in the centre bounce, so they get the clearance, but you know, Flynn's got to get his forward craft as much as his ruck craft in order.
Banfield. Ball to the wing. In the hands of Darcy. Duggan on the boot with a high ball to half forward. Bouncing Banfield after it with Baker. Baker gave a little nudge just to create some room. Then the kick smothered. Fremantle didn't give it up. Chapman tackled. Got on Baker. Brayshaw in there. Ball spills out. Fremantle will take it through Banfield. Weaving his way through some trouble. McDonald's. O'Meara. Seconds tick down. Late chance here for the Dockers if they want to go quickly. Young delayed it over the top to Brayshaw, who's been big in this first quarter. High ball in, Voss on a 50, had a sprawl from behind. Now Tracy, little step was good on Cole. The kick goes in quickly for Dudley. As the siren sounds to end the first quarter. Fremantle ran down the clock to perfection to get the mark to Isaiah Dudley.
That was wonderful work from both Voss just to do that, get a fist in. And have a look at this step from Josh Tracy. And then the ability to go inside out to Isaiah Dudley. That is brilliant work from two key forwards.
Kicked 2 goals on debut against the Eagles back in round 3. So that's something different to this Dockers forward line. And on quarter time, he's trying to cash in. Not to be. Challenge thrown down early by the Eagles. They kicked 2 of the first 3 goals of the game. There's a lot going on off the play. Charlie Reid has a little chat to the umpires about what's going on around the stoppages. And really, from midway through that first quarter, Fremantle got to work. And at quarter time, they led it by 28 points.
All right, there we go, folks. It's quarter time over here at Optus Stadium in Perth. And I tell you what, the Dockers certainly put the foot down. The doors were locked on the bus until they opened them. The Dockers didn't get going halfway through that opening term, but gee whiz, didn't they put the metal to the pedal to the metal, I should say, halfway through that opening term. The Dockers 6-4-40, leading the Eagles 2 straight goals, 12. Eagles started off really well. Caught the Dockers off guard a little bit. I'll tell you what, it was going to be interesting until, well, it happened. And that was the Dockers. The Dockers happened. Tell you what, welcome in, Stephen. Adrian, Eddie G, what's going on, fellas? I tell you what, looking a little bit better. You want the live ladder? All right. Hey, before we have a look at the live ladder, let me just have a look at the ins and outs before we go any further. The ins for the Dockers, Neil Aramis and Isaiah Dudley, the little pocket rocket down there for Freo. They're coming in. Matty Johnson, Corey Wagner going out. Aramis is the sub for the West Coast Eagles. Elijah Hewitt, Archer Reed coming in. Jack Williams, Jack Petrelli going out. Tyrell DeWar is the sub. There are your teams. All right, let's have a little bit of a look at the live ladder just for you, and then we'll have a look at the player stats, the goal scorers. There we go. Looking at the live ladder now, the Fremantle Dockers, they're jumped up from 7th to 6th, 52 points. They'll go, there we go, a game clear of 7th and 8th. And that means they are 2 games clear inside the top 8. 110.8 is their percentage. I tell you what, Fremantle need to win by as big a margin as possible today. You got the Giants and Hawks 118, 119%, and of course they need to close that gap on the percentage, especially with all games will be tied up in 52 points. So Fremantle, you need to win by about 80 odd points today to really get that back a bit. Sam, first time ever watching Aussie Rules here from the States. Absolutely love it. Hey Sam, how you going? What's going on? Hey Sam, we've got one USA player that plays in the AFL, and that's called Mason Cox. He plays for Collingwood. So if you want to follow an American playing football, Mason Cox for Collingwood, he should be playing tomorrow, a game tomorrow. There we go. Welcome in, Sam. Hey, thanks for coming along. That's the live ladder at the moment. Of course, as we see the West Coast Eagles, are the strongest team in the competition because they're holding everyone up. They're down the bottom of the ladder with just 1 win so far, but the Dockers are looking on fire so far in today's match. Looking at the goal scorers, we've already got multiple goal scorers here out on the ground. 2 of them, Hayden Young with 2, Michael Frederick, who looks fantastic out there today with 2, and Isaiah Dudley moving well, doing a lot of things that's going to set the Fremantle Dockers alight. JMS kicked 1 also, and of course for the Eagles, Jamie Cripps and Tyler Brockman both have a single goal for them. Just looking at the disposal getters, Andy Brayshaw started off really well. Great to see him start off good instead of his normal slow beginnings. He started off with 11 touches in the opening term, 5 kicks, 6 handballs, 2 clearances. Kicked that behind. He's in for an absolute big day. Make no mistake about that. Hayden Young, next best on 11 for the Dockers. 2 goals already off his 6 kicks, 5 clearances. I tell you what, he's having a ring-a-ding-ding opening term. Tim Kelly, well, surprising to see Tim Kelly top on the table for the West Coast Eagles. Maybe his form line suggesting he mightn't be there at the West Coast Eagles next week. So he needs to prove himself in these final 5 games of the home and away season. He's on 8. Isaiah Dudley, there we go. Great to see him up the top on 7 disposals so far in the opening term. You've got to love that. I tell you what, he's a pocket rocket. Michael Frederick, as I said, he's doing fantastic. 5 disposals, getting on some good leads there. He's had a couple of marks already, looking good. Harley Reid, there we go. Already given away about 3 free kicks, Harley Reid. He needs to settle down. Just a 2 and 2. And, of course, there was another Docker player. What's his name? Voss. He's given away a couple also. So Paddy Voss. So he needs to settle down a bit, play the game, not the man. He doesn't want to get suspended at this time of year. So just settle down, son, and play the game. There we go. Shai Bolton, 3 touches, 3 kicks. Caleb Sarong. I tell you what, for a dashing display of football in the opening term by the Dockers, Caleb Sarong, ace up the sleeve for the Dockers. Wait until he gets going. He's only had the 2 touches, 2 handballs. So looking for a big game out of him also. All right, there are your player stats up until quarter time, folks. Hey, let me just reel this back up. Let me just put that back onto the scoreboard. Let's head back down to the action for the bounce of the ball for the second quarter, which will be getting underway in just a moment. So we'll head back down to the commentators.
Both sides have probably taken their eye off the ball a little bit. I think for the second half, they'll be back on it though.
Back underway, second quarter of Derby 61. Sarong is able to get a possession away to Jackson. They burst from stoppage out of the middle with a high ball in. Voss attacked the pack, knocked it down. Switkowski was clever to Murphy Reid. To Amos, just missed by hand. Switkowski still involved. Back for Amos, and then Young. He wants to turn around onto that left boot, pulls the trigger on a dangerous kick. Tracy Jackson down there. Marek gets a handball out. Sarong, Harley Reid. Sarong taken high. And Reid gives away another free kick. And it's right on the limit for Caleb Sarong to go back and perhaps attempt a shot.
Doesn't want to point to the scoreboard. Looks like you can yell at him, though.
And he's going to handball it away now to Benfield. And he's been a defender in recent weeks. Trying to sneak forward and kick one there. So Fremantle continuing that trend of domination at the stoppages, so able to get that first set of clearance of the second quarter. Duggan up the line. Leap was from Archery, who landed awkwardly. Owies. Now Hewitt to Cripps. Handball. Duggan losing a lot of ground there.
Was out before, wasn't it, Josh Tracy? The pressure just got his boot to it. But yeah, that pressure makes you force the ball backwards, particularly if it's coming at you front on. And what it does then is create a stoppage.
This is where Fremantle have been so dangerous. Jackson down to the front. Off on O'Meara. Harley Reid. And Court holding the ball.
So this quarter quite well, Caleb Sarong.
He stabs the pass inside 50. Wanted Bolton. Tracy crashed 3 away, and then it spilled away to Bolton, who snaps too far across the face and out of bounds on the full. But the attack on the footy from Josh Tracy.
He just beelines it, doesn't it? Brock's very sore after that one. He was caught up in that massive contest.
As it was tackled.
On the ball.
5 free kicks against Harley Reid already in this game. We're only in the early stages of this second quarter. The Dockers pressure wins another free inside 50, and Jai Amos.
Just unfortunate at the moment, there's not a lot of leaders for West Coast to calm the ship. I mean, need some conversations around Harley and free kicks that are unnecessary, in particular start of the second quarter. And on the flip side, the maturity of Fremantle, what they're doing.
On the pocket. Jai Amos hit it near side. In fact, out of bounds on the foot.
Fortunately for West Coast, without Elliot Yeo or Waterman or Oscar Allen and these types, it's really left up to a few. Yeah, Duggan, Cole, Liam Ryan. There's not a lot of leadership out there in terms of experience.
Missing those key players. It's going to be a 50-metre here. They'll release the pressure valve. Of course, we know you're sort of mentioning Yeo and Waterman, Oscar Allen, Govan and Sheed retiring. It's been a significant shift in the experience out there for the Eagles in season 2025.
Baker is a lever you can pull and get him into the midfield and perhaps help out. He's been playing predominantly forward at the moment.
The age difference between these two sides on average is pretty similar, but the experience certainly heavily favoured in favour of the Dockers. Kick goes inside 50, punched away by Brendan Cox. Spills away Sarong, cleverly done. Tracy O'Meara along the ground was clever to Murphy Reid. He's only got one option up the wing. He tries for Switkowski. Bounce will be important. Now he'll try to use his speed. Step back inside McCarthy. Kept it in play. Drove it to the 50. Marrick didn't take it. He just had to keep it in front because it opens the door for Frederick and for Fremantle to run into an open goal.
Well, Freddie's on fire. That's his third. And it comes from a mistake, really. It's got to be said at half forward, but he summed that up well, Jim, Michael Frederick. Sometimes you can blaze away then, but he said, no, I've got time and space, I can run, I can carry, I can potentially draw to Brayshaw and or Voss, but you know what, I'll just kick the goal myself. So that one's from half-back, a transfer, and it has been a strength for the Dockers. They're ranked really highly in the competition from their half-back to inside 50 and to score. It's been their real weapon, it's got to be said, over the last 3 or so months. And when you get these types of players in the game, Dudley, Frederick, Switkowski was awesome here on the wing. It really sets up this forward line.
Well, the discussion is this more about Fremantle or West Coast? And some of the easy turnovers West Coast are given this quarter and late in the first quarter is a concern, but it probably just shows you the gap between the talent and the system at the moment between the two clubs.
That's the 10th time that Michael Frederick has kicked 3 goals in a game. He's never kicked 4. He's still got plenty of time remaining in this one. Harley Reid battling with Young. Spills out to Sarong. Now for Clark. Up for Dudley. Marrick in a good spot. Punched it away to the advantage of Clay Hall. Little slip from Brockman. Feeds it inside for Hoff. Can the Eagles generate something up to the 50? Baker presents. Thought about going. Goes to the open pocket instead. It sends it high for Archer Reid. Right on by McDonald. Just got back in time to affect the spoil. Amos back there in defence. Cole. Jinby. Switkowski, good pressure. Wins another free kick. They have been red hot, the Dockers.
That's that pressure again, isn't it? All over the ground, they've been on them.
And a 50-minute penalty encroaching in the protected area.
Well, we saw so many of these last week, Paps, and
There was just about 2 players there.
so the second time Jimby's been caught. Does have that high ball drop, so
Yep, absolutely.
Handball away to Clark. From range, he goes into the pocket. Voss with strength. And a battle against 2. Cole to Hutchinson. On the defensive 50. Isn't sure where to go. He's caught again. They put the ball on the ground, but it's called to play. That should have been holding the ball. I checked the replay, but it looked like as he was tackled, the ball went loose on the ground.
Interesting, isn't it? The pressure's only 170, but the perceived pressure's gone through the roof, and could be an early kill if it hasn't happened already.
Dockers Freo chance starting up very early in this one. Hutchinson, Baker. And for Hutchinson around the boundary line. Off the left boot. Brendan Cox, another intercept mark. Just tremendous body work, just nudged the younger opponent out early. Ryan. And Chapman, good pressure from Liam Ryan. He was able to knock it down. They keep it locked in their forward half. Brendan Cox, handball up the boundary line. Hutchinson has it knocked over.
that's interesting play there because Brendan Cox takes that intercept mark and goes quickly by hand. It's not normally what they do, and West Coast are actually really well set up on the other side of the ground, so it forced them to come back to this near side. So just a sign there for West Coast that your pressure's on, your system's on, and they create something for this stoppage.
Darcy held front spot. Flynn trying to reach. Kelly's found a bit of the footy today. Now Harley Reid is unleashed with a run and a bounce. The power, the poise, the precision from Harley Reid.
Well, that's a wonderful finish. There was an interest. He's getting some attention, so his role now at stoppages is to go to Jackson and try and free up someone else. And quite often when you're the one putting the blocks on, as we see this clearance here to the bottom of your screen, he's trying to get the Jackson, forces a little turnover.
Here it just gets caught in a little bit close, doesn't he? But you're right, if you're the blocker, sometimes you get free. It's a really good point.
And they'll get rewarded on a Monday, just a bit of selfless positioning around the ball. Sarong's doing it for Fremantle as well, and it's a good way to break a tag or at least nullify your impact on the game. You can actually do things for other teams. So
trying to energise his team. Harley Reid kicked a brilliant goal. Having a battle against several Dockers opponents in that midfield. Get a warning here at the restart against the Dockers for the 666. 29 points, the first step on the road back. That goal to Harley Reid for West Coast. Darcy went straight at Flynn. Reid getting busy and bursting out of the centre with a run and a bounce. He's got some support. It's away to Kelly into the pocket and Brockman. So out of the centre, the stoppage win pays dividends and they get a set shot.
Centre bounces, you don't really tag in the centre bounce. You can get manipulated, but I think Harley going on to Jackson around the ball has worked again. And as much as Jackson can play a midfield role, he's not really a midfielder just yet, and just got outbodied at the right time and really good finish out the front of the stoppage.
Chance at a couple of quick ones. The Eagles, that is the scenario for Tyler Brockman from the angle. He hooks it badly across the face. Hutchinson, he tried to take to the sky.
That was a fair old jump, wasn't it? He was up there for a long time, just couldn't quite get access to the ball, but here's a bit of opportunity for West Coast. Hasn't been... That's a nice jumping footy. Build some pressure on this Dockers defence.
Pushing and shoving going on around the stoppage. Len Ryan got clear. Sarong's kick didn't go far, then Warner is held up.
West Coast decided to take two spares behind the play. It's actually hard to kick a goal when you've got two extras behind the play. You might get some repeat entries though.
Flynn the hit out. Hewitt can't get to work at the stoppage. Kelly.
We've seen that a lot from West Coast this year at times when it is a deep inside forward 50 that they like to have two players behind the footy, set them up really condensed.
Darcy down to Luke Ryan. Kelly was held on to as he was going after the football, so another opportunity here for West Coast.
So that's the best way in forward 50s to get a free kick. It was probably there. We saw the jumper getting pulled, and Kelly starting on ball today. He's had a bit of it to his 10th possession.
Well, he needs to stand up today, doesn't he, around that Fremantle midfield. He's the one, along with Harley Reid, that needs to spark them.
And 15 disposals for his last 5 games. Back amongst it, more midfield time. Having an impact, Tim Kelly. West Coast with a couple in a row.
So, the best way to answer sometimes the stoppage dominance of a team is just get your hands on the ball and get it going your way. Easier said than done, I understand that, but that's their second goal from a stoppage this quarter. There's the hold. Wasn't a huge amount in it, but we've seen a couple of those paid already for both teams. Fair enough that was paid. It was a nice finish from Tim Kelly again. So, Savage scoring shots to Freo from stoppage in that first quarter. They've shut that down, West Coast, and they've been able to say, we'll kick a couple ourselves.
Yeah, well, the last 3 clearances have been 3 shots a goal. You know, the goal that Harley kicked, then the centre bounce clearance with Brockman, and then you get another 450 stoppage there. So it's not as simple as that, but to be competitive around the ball is critical for West Coast at the moment. Their transition has been okay this year, but their clearance work is the real success indicator.
So it was 4 goals from stoppage, 7 scores from stoppage in the first quarter for Fremantle. Now 2 goals from stoppage from the Eagles to start this second quarter. The free kick goes to Brayshaw for a hold. Clark was lightning off half-back to receive it. And drive a high ball inside 50. Amos attacked it. Great courage from Marek to sit in the hole, knowing that a player was crashing over the top. Tremendous.
Yeah, tremendous courage.
Great for his confidence too. He's had a couple of fumbles today, been caught holding the ball, and not known for being brave. Like, that was a fantastic effort. You don't see that a lot in this game.
You're allowed to contest the ball, though, aren't you? That's interesting. It looked like he was just jumping for the ball. It's a great effort from Marek, but Amos was contesting the ball.
Put himself in harm's way. He won the free kick. Marek, though, showed too much of it to Clark. And great tackle from Baker. Didn't give up on it. Not rewarded with a free kick. We'll get a ball up.
Just a couple of signs here that West Coast have had a good couple of minutes, probably the last 5 or 6 minutes.
Playing the spirit for the last 10 minutes, the Eagles. Working just that little bit harder.
Well, they're winning the quarter, so it's a definite improvement in the last 10 minutes of the first quarter.
Looked like the Dockers were going to run away with it. And Hutchinson caught holding the ball. Didn't have a lot of pride, but then wasn't trying to make enough of an attempt to get it out.
Perhaps when you duck your head and back into a contest, he just doesn't have the craft as an inside mid just yet. He's still learning that.
Jackson with the free. That's the numbers in the forward line for Fremantle. Brock with the punch. O'Meara at the spill. Brayshaw on the boot. Into the hot spot. Driscoll the target off hands. Warner. He wants his opportunity as he snaps it across the face. Carl Warner hasn't kicked one yet in his career. That was his best chance.
It's what happens sometimes when you're a high half back, is that your forward drags you right up into a position. You need to get dangerous. You need to get to a spot where you can exactly be that a scoring threat.
Marek, McCarthy. Long kick to the wing. Liam Ryan in the air. Chapman judged it best. Short ball for Banfield. Run from Clark. Through the centre circle. Wobbly old kick inside 50 and McCarthy can intercept.
All right, a bit rushed with Fremantle's entries. They can go different modes today. It seems to be a bit more speed.
Which I think is the right play, but sometimes when you just run to that much pressure, as Jordan Clark was, that you do turn it over and expose your defence.
Cole, really there for the Eagles, and Ryan can intercept it for the Dockers.
Not sure too, you can win this way as well, where you take your time, you work your way through a grid.
Speed on the ball now from Fremantle as Jackson goes in towards Dudley. Marek, another great defensive effort.
They've got a few options, haven't they, Fremantle? Haven't really exposed the height advantage I thought they'd get in the first quarter. The defenders for West Coast have done a pretty good job.
Yeah, they haven't had as much ball down there, have they, either? 8 inside 50s to 4 in Fremantle's favour, but it hasn't been clean.
Darcy the hit out. Jackson roving as the midfielder. Sarong scrambles a kick. Cole attacked it. Past Dudley. Now to Clay Hall. Left foot kick, controlled it. Oh, he's there. Warner with a good spoil. And stayed in play for a second. And it continues over the boundary line.
It's a couple of times that Warner's been right there on Owie, so if you're going to be up the ground as a half-back, close the space, have a shot at goal a bit earlier. That occasion, just stopping the exit. Really important play, getting a fist in, keeping it in your forward half.
Darcy wins it down. Brayshaw on the burst. Got away from Kelly. Now to Sarong outside of the boot. And a downfield free kick. So Sarong snap at goal. It went over on the full.
So he gets the option.
It'll come back.
Do you want the behind or do you want it again?
I think I know what he's going to pick.
Should have put a bit more forward half pressure if they'd have taken it.
Sarong gets the free kick after he got the kick away.
It was Tim Kelly with a late tackle. Really exploded out of that stoppage though, both Brayshaw and Sarong.
Wonder if many players would take the behind there, boys.
Defenders?
Probably not many. Maybe a full back.
Depends on the scoreline and how many seconds left on the clock. If it's close. As Sarong with the set shot. Well, we got the same result anyway.
They've left a few out there, haven't they? Seven plays, 4 straight. That's the... they've done this play a lot, haven't they, West Coast? So they like to hit that one, and then we'll normally try to get the give and go, but Fremantle aware to this time.
Kelly stabs the pass out. Frederick is floating in the air to get a hand on it.
Early in the year, they were really happy, West Coast, just to go along to a contest, and sometimes you get your speed off those down-the-line plays. It's been more of a spot kick type of exit from defence in the last 3 weeks.
Much closer contest in this second quarter. Mayhall lost it. Sarong hassling. Brayshaw bursting forward again. It's Murphy Reid who can try to put it through, but again, another miss.
We've seen a lot from Murphy today, just his 4th possession. But the dangerous clearance again, where if you get beaten out the front or through the corridor, it's really difficult to defend.
They won 4 and they've kicked 3 points from stoppage, the Dockers, so the method's there, just not the execution.
Huge advantage in terms of the amount of scoring shots they've had in the game.
Just to get a good look at this clearance here and see what happens, because I feel like they've dropped the Harley Reid attention since he went to Jackson, and now it's just a little bit more free-flowing with the structural look of it all.
Yeah, so Young's opposed to him right now. That's an interesting matchup for both teams.
Brayshaw and Hewitt. Bolton was there with Kelly. Brayshaw, great sidestep. And Frederick couldn't find it. Shanahan put some pressure on. McCarthy went in low. Cleanly done by Young to extract it and just run his way out of that trouble. Inside 50, Amos hands to it. Dudley at the spill again. Looking so lively and dangerous as Bolton's kick is smothered by Duggan. Bolt rolls goalward. Still a chance. Voss is there on the boot. Alive still for the Dockers. Murphy Reid, Switkowski waiting on it. Can someone get it on their boot? O'Driscoll can, but there's a high tackle and a free kick to Fremantle.
The outfield option with this one as well.
And that was a spin on the Sherrod around the goal line there to stay in play.
Shane Wood didn't even have that in his kick back.
Eventually it's O'Driscoll that gets the free. As I look at it here, that left arm going up over the shoulder of O'Driscoll. Here we'll line them up. It's been a bit tougher to come by for the Dockers in this second quarter. West Coast pressure has been up, and Fremantle have been wasteful.
They've won 5 now this quarter.
Number 15 to the number 15 as the kick goes up the line, punched away, and taken over. Eagles watching on. Harry Edwards there. You can see on the left of your screen, he was laid out. Looked like some hamstring issue just before the game. Sandy Brock, very late inclusion into it. High contact free kick here. It's going to go to Luke Jackson. Saying there was an arm over the shoulder. 6.5 minutes to go in this second quarter. High ball in. Amos lost his footing. Tracy was there. Cripps going to clear the footy out. Off over the top of it. Bolton in there. Destined for a ball up.
16-8 free kicks to Fremantle. Pavers. Affirmation of the crowd there involved, or is it legit?
I haven't really noticed the umpires. Have you?
I've noticed it a little bit, yeah.
They've been first in the ball most of the day.
You're right, Scully.
That's probably why they're getting it.
Whether you feel hard done by depends on which side of the fence you sit on. There's the ball up the line. For a Bailey Williams. A chance here to break for the Eagles as Baker to half forward. Archery down low. Nice take. Little handball for the run for Kelly. From one end to the other. Shanahan. Strong hands.
It's 2 young forwards in Archer Reid and Joe Shanahan getting into the game. They definitely show a bit, these two, and it's been starved of opportunity. Only the 15 inside 50s, but that's a nice dive and grab, and then a first give, and you get an opportunity to get new forwards. And after being so wasteful, the Dockers, 1 goal 5 this second term. Can the Eagles maintain being perfect?
Two young key forwards get involved with two good marks. To see the Eagles with an attempt on goal, cannot finish off their good work. In fact, that one's gone all the way out of bounds on the full in the opposite pocket. Tough watch for some Eagles fans. Benfield. Up the line, another good contested mark, this time Bazo. So a chance for a repeat entry here. Ball's lived in the Dockers forward half for a while. Now the Eagles go back in again. Shanahan try the leap. You get a push, there's a Docker down. Brayshaw, handball to Young, to Jackson. Get it through to Bolton, over the top, Switkowski. Dudley there running in support. Now they're going in the way, Fremantle. And an open forward line. There's plenty of space for Amos. No free kick on the spoil. What an effort it was in the end from Brock to knock it away, but the turnover comes. And now Frederick, he's never kicked four. He wanted it, and he's missed it. Another behind goes the Dockers' way. A great defensive effort there.
Here's Brendan Cox. He went up along the side. That's unrealistic, by the way. Brendan Cox hurt himself. And then, did he get his hands to it? Maybe. I'm not sure if he did. But
Close enough.
1 goal, 6. So no great highlights in this second term. Just leaving the door ajar, the Dockers. This could have been a huge second term to really gap the game, but they're keeping him in it.
Well, the scores are level, aren't they? 1 goal, 6 to 2 goals straight. So you're right. There's a glimmer of hope there, and been a criticism of Fremantle on occasion, really putting him to the sword.
Frederick dispossessed, but illegally got rid of it. Free kick to the Eagles at half-back.
The percentage is going to be important at the end of the year, so...
Well, it's going to take more than 14 wins, can you believe, to probably make the final 8 this year. So...
Flynn unsure where to go. They all got mixed up. McCarthy squeezed the kick, but it's all Fremantle well set up down the line.
Not sure if this is working, the little spot kicks. I don't think the skill level's there just yet. Every now and then you just got to embrace down the line play and get some field position.
Great step from Warner. Now Brayshaw. Inside 4 minutes till half-time. Ramira.
So we actually haven't seen a lot of this from Fremantle, where they're spot kicking and building the ball like they usually do. Composure.
It's a great option. Line ball to the 50. All Eagles there. Cole.
So there was one more kick there from Amira that was needed. You could see some of the Dockers midfielders and forwards expecting that one.
Hewitt. Up the line. Archer Reid and McDonald's. Amira. They'll just handle it to his advantage. We get the free kick. Close to Cripps.
Andy Brayshaw is one of those midfielders you're talking about. He has just been running around for the last 10 minutes with no one near him.
Check those numbers go from this quarter. Certainly found a fair bit of it. There's a ball off the hands of Chapman. The spoiled away now. Baker, a little casual. Brayshaw trying that trademark. Run down from behind. It slipped too low, though. Free kick advantage to the Eagles. Cripps from 50 to punish it. The goal signalled by the umpire and the crowd. And the Eagles just stay in touch. We approach half-time. A big goal there to Jamie Cripps.
It's a pretty good response, hasn't it? I mean, Fremantle haven't really put them away like you spoke about earlier on the scoreboard, but some of the play, the turnovers we're seeing, it's been not through pressure, or it's been through skill. And Fremantle have been drawn into playing a little bit the same way West Coast in the last 5 or 6 minutes. We've seen lots of turnovers, and who can capitalise off the back of that? As you see, a free kick paid advantage, and this guy's had a tremendous career. Played his 250s a few weeks ago and just keeps turning up.
He's been a wonderful player, and if you're not going to get the ball in there that much inside your forward 50 or create many scoring shots, what is it, 5 scoring shots to 17 at the moment, you're going to have to take the most of your opportunities, and they're certainly doing that.
Fremantle haven't taken theirs, and West Coast have been much improved in this second quarter. Holding, free kick goes to Flynn. Sarong hanging on to the ruck.
Doesn't want to kick it, see?
It's going to be forced to. The He sends a high one, a wide one. Over to the advantage of his forwards. Cripps did well to halve it. Now Cole got through to Kelly. Bounced off Chapman, who took the footy, who then ran into trouble. Pressure from both teams, and eventually it's over.
It's a pretty good fight, though, in response. Kept the game entertaining, and it's still within striking distance, 22 points.
Looked like Freo by how far at quarter time. Good response by the Eagles in this term. Fremantle have cost themselves being wayward in front of goal. It's just kept the door ajar as the Eagles go inside 50. Owies. Baker try to combine. Jackson, O'Meara. This is where the Dockers have looked dangerous. That run and carry and bounce and run a long way to Sukowski. They've got away with it a couple of bounces. Still going. They can't lay a finger on him as he sends it inside 50. The kick wayward. Bounce important. Tracy there. Shanahan too. Bolton on the boundary line. This is where he can be so creative. He turns, he twists. He gets the handball back. Young. And the free kick will go the Dockers' way for over the shoulder.
It's so dangerous off the half-back line, don't they, when they get that shape and hands going. Speed's been an issue for West Coast the last 2 or 3 weeks, especially in their back half, so you can see why they're trying to take the game on.
Young into the pocket. Sort of disconnection there. Amos was leading up, and in the end it was all West Coast.
I think both teams probably go into a slower mode with 2 minutes to go.
Fremantle home crowd getting stuck into Harley Reid every opportunity. Inside the last minute of this second quarter. Going up the line, Brennan Cox, best position. And the free kick to Bailey Williams. Oscar McDonald was just trying to stop him from going for it. Trying to protect Brennan Cox as he came out to take the mark.
Come back around. Harley, take him out.
Sarong up to 11 possessions now. He's had a bit more impact this quarter. Harley's up to 7.
Bailey Williams towards the 50. 3 Dockers up. And Chapman with a good intercept. Both teams looking for the siren at the half. Tough contest. Both given plenty. Up the line, punched away. Over and out of play. And for Justin Longmuir to ponder.
Yeah, we think about the messaging at half-time. Wouldn't be too disappointed, but they've left some goals on the board. Their clearance work's been fantastic. The pressure's been okay. Just haven't finished off.
Andrew Brayshaw's had a big half with the 19 disposals. O'Meara, little fend, then caught, holding the ball. Maybe not enough time. They're trying to take the advantage, and we'll come back to Baker with just a few seconds remaining. They have to go long and claim a mark, but they'll run out of time to do just that. And an important fight back for the Eagles in that second quarter. Harley let Reid try to lift his side in that term. Dockers looked like they were about to career away with it. They were a bit wasteful in that second quarter. The margin could have been a bit bigger as O'Meara and Reid continue just to discuss how things are playing out there. We've seen a lot of this in the game. Plenty of discussion going on. Expect nothing less in a derby.
Got to get your sledge game going when you play these types of games. Come in with some material.
The local rivalry is alive and well, and it's a 22-point lead to the Dockers at the half.
Upgrade.
All right, there we go, folks. To tell you what, the Dockers 7-10-52, Eagles 5 straight goals. They're kicking nice and straight. The Eagles 30, 22 points the margin. What's going on, Dockers? I tell you what, Dockers, you need to lift. It was 3 straight goals to the Dockers, to Freo in the second term. 1 goal, 5 to the Dockers. Eagles winning the second term, and they did it in fine style. 22 points the margin just when we thought the Dockers were going to run away and absolutely crunch the Eagles. It just didn't happen. So I'm thinking the coach of the Dockers is going to give them a little bit of a talking to, and tell them to get back on the bike because they've got a job to do. Hey, welcome in. Cheer, Shelty, the famous one. Sheila, mate, cheer. Great to have you in here. Keezy Sweet, how you going? Wish there was up by more. I tell you what, after the first quarter, I tell you what, the Dockers put on about 5 or 6 straight goals quick to end the opening term. 5 goals. I tell you what, we thought the Dockers were going to be by probably 70 points up at half time, but the Eagles have really stemmed the tide on the Dockers and prevented that. So now we've got a nice close game, 22 points of margin, Keys, at half time. So it's just going to be interesting to see what happens in the third term. JC Finesse, how you going? Love our Fremantle wants to score 50 plus in the first half now. And there we go, 52 points. I know. Wow, we thought Anthony was going for the Dockers 91 to 105. As I said to Anthony, I thought the Dockers would be around the 100 mark at half time, but certainly not just at the moment. But we've got a great game. Look, I can't see Fremantle Dockers giving this game up. West Coast are going to give a good account of themselves. I think in this, they had a couple of good passages of play, of course, in that quarter. And, of course, they're kicking straight. 5 straight goals. That's certainly keeping them in this game at the moment. No blemishes on their scoreboard. 5 scoring shots to 17 for the Dockers. 7 goals, 10. Kicking wayward. If they had to kick more accurate, they could be a fair bit further in front, but still getting the job done. And as we just ducked over to have a look at the live ladder at the moment, Fremantle jump up into 6th spot after, if they end up winning this game. But as we'll say in a quarter time, the Fremantle Dockers need to win by a margin, and a big margin at that. 110%. Their percentage is the lowest in the top 8 at the moment. Only Brisbane are next to them at 110.8. But Brisbane do have that draw, that half a game. So that sort of counteracts the percentage there. But definitely for Fremantle, they need to win this by a margin. Because Hawthorn, the Giants, 118, 8% above them. That could cost them a home final if they don't get their act up and running very, very quickly. We'll get back to the commentators in a moment to give a bit of analysis. We'll just have a look at the goal scorers, see what's happening, what's changed up until half time. And, of course, Michael Frederick slotted through another one. So he's up to 3 goals now, Michael Frederick, for the Dockers, doing well. Hayden Young on 2. Isaiah Dudley is the single goal scorer, and Jaya Miss also for the Dockers, for the West Coast Eagles. Jamie Cripps now with 2, the only multiple for the West Coast Eagles. Harley Reid had a good running goal, fantastic goal from Harley Reid. He slotted one through alongside Tim Kelly and Tyler Brockman. All right, let's just head back to the commentators. They'll give us a bit of analysis on the opening half, and then we'll have a look at the stats after that.
At half-time, Adam Simpson, as we have a look at some of the numbers.
Yeah, well, the biggest numbers that jump off the page is the clearance work and the scores from stoppages. So, forward half, they average around 3.7 scores from stoppages a game, and they're already at 8. So it sort of tells you that's alarm bells for West Coast, and it's the way it's exiting the stoppage, coming out the front or through the corridor. So definitely some better work in the second quarter, but a lot of work to do. But West Coast win that quarter with really losing a lot of stats, to be honest.
Yeah, so the Dockers inaccurate in that quarter, but West Coast more efficient when they went forward, kicking the 3 goals straight as we head downstairs to Will Schofield and Matthew Pavlich.
Yeah, really interesting battle down here at ground level. Scoey, time now, though, to take a look at the host class performance of the first half, and it is Freo's pressure, because when they're at their best, not only the stoppage work, but it was their pressure that really got them into the game.
Yeah, it was, mate. This is a side that's much better than the West Coast side. You don't have to bring this pressure. You don't have to run and chase, especially if you're a key forward. And I know this is Jimby getting caught a couple of times, but their willingness to work for each other is actually why they are where they are on the ladder. And yes, West Coast win that quarter, but their pressure throughout this one, Freo, has been a real standout. It's what they've really brought to the game, and it's what they've brought to this last 2 or 3 month period. So, yeah, it started really well, the Dockers.
So they'd be very happy with that at halftime, Fremantle, and I'm tipping they'd also be very happy, despite the fact they kicked 1 goal 6 in that second term, some of their leadership. And it's notable that their leaders are certainly directing one another and setting up plays both offensively and defensively as well. So this one comes from a stoppage. You've got Caleb Sarong and Andy Brayshaw, 2 of the more experienced sort of leaders, and the ball goes forward, and look at this. They're directing immediately, not to affect this play offensively. They're starting to defend this play as it goes inside their forward 50, and it's a sign, Scully, that you're really on to the team.
Well, and it's a sign of senior leadership, and I've seen that up close on the boundary. From boundary throw-ins, they're talking, they're pointing, and they've got players free against a really young midfield in West Coast. The experience from those two, but across the ground that Freo had, you can see it and you can hear it. You know, they haven't been able to put on the scoreboard, really. I mean, they should be more up than they are, 22 points. They should be well in front, but West Coast have been able to hang around. It'll just be interesting to see if that leadership and that seniority comes to the front in this second half.
It is interesting, isn't it, in terms of the youth and the experience of both teams. They're not too far apart. It's probably just the fact that some of Fremantle's better players are about 30 or 40 games ahead.
Well, and those two in particular, Sarong and Brayshaw, vice captains, we know how good they are. They're leaders, but they've been doing it from such a young age, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly have. 22-point lead as we enter the halftime break. Perhaps going to be interesting to see what West Coast can do in this second half.
Thank you. Yes, certainly will be the second half coming up. But next, Super Saturday Live team will take us through all the fallout from the Gold Coast big win over Brisbane, and we get an update on the potential suspension of Toby Green.
All right, let's head back down and we'll continue to have a look at some of these stats. We're only 11 minutes away from the bounce of the ball for the third term. Don't forget, hey folks, don't forget to vote who you think's going to win this game. So far, we have 81% saying the Fremantle Dockers are going to win this game. Tell you what, I'm with you. I'm tipping Freo as well. Don't worry about that, but still hoping for a great, close, tight game here. On a perfect day over there in Optus Stadium there in Perth, of course, it is the derby. Always a good battle between these two sides. There we go. Andy Brayshaw, disposal count, still tops the table. He's having a great game, Andy Brayshaw. 19 touches, 7 kicks, 12 handballs. He's at a mark. Just the one tackle, though. 4 clearances, 1 behind. He's doing all right. He's doing all right. Good to see him. Got his skates on in today's game. Hayden Young, though, I tell you what, he's having a cracker, though, isn't he? 14 touches, 9 and 5, already 6 clearances, 2 straight goals. You can't ask much better than that for a half of football. Tim Kelly leading the way for the West Coast Eagles on 14. Great to see him up and about for a change. I think this is one of his highest possession games I've actually seen him have for a year, and it's only half time, so well done to him. Luke Jackson, there we go. He's on 13. He's on 13, Luke Jackson. Caleb Sarong lifted his stats up in that second term, up to double figures now on 11. 4 and 7, 5 clearances, just a 1 behind. Good to see him kick a goal if he can get on the end of one. Isaiah Dudley up to 9, a little bit quieter in that second term, 7 kicks. Still kicked that 1 goal there. Shai Bolton, look, he's trying to get into the action there. His teammates are taking all the shining light from him at the moment, though. I'm sure he'll come into the game at some time, or rather 9 disposals for Shai Bolton. 6 kicks, 3 handballs, and a clearance for him as well. Liam Baker, always trying hard there for the West Coast Eagles. He's up to 9, also with a clearance there as you go. Let's just roll on down. Frederick, as we were saying, 8 disposals, 7 kicks, kicking pretty accurate, doing some good things. I tell you what, I like the way he goes about his football. Frederick, he can put some dance steps on and get around players. He's doing really well with his 7 kicks for 3 goals, 1. Harley Reid, as I said, had a really good running goal there in the second term. Harley just needs to sort of concentrate more on the game, play the game, play his brand of style, and he can certainly rise to the occasion. When he starts to play the man and play the big tough guy, look, things just go haywire for him, just turns to chaos, gives away free kicks, just doesn't work for him or the team. I think the team's certainly a lot better when Harley Reid's on top of his game, playing the game the best he can do. All right, let's keep on rolling down here. Jamie Cripps just on the 6. Carl Warner on 5 there for Freo, just a 5 touches. Josh Tracy's been a little bit quiet also today. Hasn't hit a major, just 1 behind from his 5 disposals. 3 kicks for him. Paddy Voss, also the same. I tell you what, I thought it was going to be a monster game from Paddy Voss. Look, he was a little bit like Harley Reid, starting off a little bit angrily. Gave away from free kicks. Get your mind back on the job. You played a fantastic game. I think when you played the Pies, I think that's right. I don't know if Fatty G can remind me, but I think it was against the Pies you played pretty good. Paddy Voss, I think he needs to do the same. Just the 3 disposals, 3 kicks unsighted. There we go. He needs to get back on the ball. You just take a bit. I know they're just having a bit of a glance talk. The commentators on the, of course, the Gold Coast Suns, Brisbane Lions today, where the Gold Coast Suns absolutely gave Brisbane Lions a towel up today, up there at People's First Stadium. Big win today there by the Gold Coast Suns. All right, there we go. Let me just see if they're having a little bit of a yak. No, they're still having a talk on that. All right, let's have a look at the team disposals here. And Fremantle, pretty well on top here. They're plus 34 already on just team disposals up until half time. Just a plus 12 handballs, 22 handballs and the 12 kicks. There we go. Starting to get that margin out a little bit. Freo from kick to handball ratio. Looking at inside 50s, Fremantle doing this really well, getting plenty of opportunity. If we have a look there, Freo, 32 inside 50s already up until half time. Season average only 52. So they're getting through the defences of the West Coast Eagles really well. Their mids and their centres are doing a great job running the ball and getting, as I said, getting the opportunity down to their forwards down there. Plenty of chances. 32 inside 50s for 17 scoring shots. West Coast Eagles, only the 19. So the Fremantle Dockers, their mids and... they're just not given the chance. The defensive halfbacks of Freo doing a good job holding the ball. 5 scoring shots, 5 straight goals for their 19 inside 50s, the Eagles. So if you're going to have limited inside 50s like that, you've got to do exactly what West Coast Eagles are doing at the present time, and that's kicking straight, and they've certainly done that. 5 straight goals for their 19 inside 50. Well inside... and under their season average of 47.6 inside 50s, the Eagles. So the Dockers really holding them up defensively well. Disposal efficiency, 74% for the Eagles, doing a little bit better there, but the efficiency inside 50, that's fantastic numbers there for the Dockers. 62.5 efficiency inside 50. Folks, that is very high number there, so you've got to be very happy with the Eagles there. 36 for the Eagles. Free kicks, to tell you what, the umpires are having a field day. I think Voss and Harley Reid have probably given away half of those at the moment. 18-13, 31 free kicks already in this match. I tell you what, the umpires are going to need a new whistle come the end of this game. Look, if you check out the season average, Fremantle normally only get 19-20 free kicks a game. They're already up to 18 to half time. So there we go. Just shows you the West Coast, just not playing the ball 100% cleanly. Hit-outs all pretty tidy together, 21-20. Freo +1. The clearances, they're getting the job done there. Fremantle Dockers, 25-14. They're +11, +3 in the centre clearances. So Eagles aren't too bad in the centre. Dockers doing just a little bit better, but around the grounds in the stoppage clearances, Eagles are a lot more skilled there, and their work is a little bit better finished off. 17-9, they're +8 in that department. Contested possessions, Dockers, as I said, they bringing the pressure up. 20 plus to the contested possessions, and 18 in uncontested. Turnovers, look, she's not a high turnover game, which is pretty good to see. 27-31. That's nice and low from the Dockers. It just shows you that how cleanly the Dockers are using the ball throughout the ground. Going forward, they're not doing too many missed kicks or anything like that. So they're hitting their targets. West Coast are doing pretty good in that department as well. 27-31. Eagles, however, they're +4 on the marks, but the Dockers are 4-3, +1 inside 50, 4-3. Look, both teams, they just need to sort of open up a little bit more, just a little bit more. Their forwards work together a little bit and try and get hit that leading forward up, lace out. That's the objective part of it. So 4-3. But let's just have a look down here on the tackle count and see if there's a real lot of pressure going on. Look, I think 24-25. I think that's super low for tackle count. Super low in tackle count. And of course, there we go. Pretty much 40% of tackles for the Dockers are inside their forward 50. So that is fantastic for the Dockers. 10 inside 50 tackles already up until half time. West Coast Eagles the same. Both defences working pretty well in this game. 7 tackles inside their forward 50. So the small forwards, and that, they're doing the job down there for both teams. 10 and 7, 24-25. Like to see these numbers grow up a little bit. Certainly like them up to be around the 60 mark, 65 mark by the end of the game. And you know your team is certainly putting a lot of pressure on the opposition. And certainly when you put that pressure on, the perceived pressure, it does cause the opposition to make a few fumbles, make a few errors, misjudge their kicks, and gives you then the opportunity. All right, where are we? We're only a couple of minutes out from the bounce of the ball for the third quarter here, as the Dockers 7-10-52 leading the West Coast Eagles 5 straight goals 30. Don't forget, folks, we might have another game up. Keys are sweet. We might have another game coming up after this evening. Adelaide Crows taking on Port Adelaide. The derby over there in Adelaide should be an absolute ring-a-ding-ding game over there. Of course, if you have a look at the live ladder, you got Adelaide up here. Now, I'm guessing Fremantle supporters, you'll be cheering on Port Adelaide, sitting down there in 11, 32 points. They were unable to make the top 8, Port Adelaide. But I'm sure a lot of interest to be coming from the Fremantle supporters and players, etc., like that, with Adelaide Crows playing tonight. They'll certainly be hoping Port Adelaide get the job done, so Fremantle can remain on 52 points level with Adelaide. So big consequences in a lot of the games coming up in the next week, this week, and the next couple of weeks on who's going to win, where the teams move about on the ladder, because everyone is certainly chasing. Well, let's just say they're chasing top 4, but they're certainly chasing 1, 2. Look, I think top position might be out of range for the teams now. Because I think Collingwood play Richmond, so I think that's a game in the bag for Collingwood tomorrow. Of course, Collingwood do have Brisbane the following week, I'm pretty sure. So all teams will be eyeing off that second position on the ladder. Of course, double chance and the home final come the final series. So that is the big carrot that's swinging in front of all these teams down here. And it's a nice juicy carrot as well. All right, we'll head back down to the ground, and they will take us into the bounce of the ball for the third quarter, where it's the Dockers by 22.
And give yourself a chance. So we spoke about we just got to keep working on our stoppage game, and just some things with our back half ball movement we've got to get improved to try and get the ball in our front half a bit more.
Will you change anything personnel-wise?
Not significantly at this stage. We'll keep it the same. Good luck for the second half. Thanks, mate.
Andrew McQualter there with Will Schofield as we are about to get underway in the third quarter. Adam Simpson, Matthew Pavlich, our experts on Fox Footy this afternoon. They're about to get going. Can the Eagles continue to make some inroads into the deficit? Or will Fremantle power on to victory in Derby 61? Second half underway from Optus Stadium on a glorious Saturday afternoon, and Jackson in there, so Ron flicked it up. Good tap from Brayshaw. Bolton, Jackson, all the midfield getting involved there for the Dockers to get the centre clearance. It was touched off the boot. Jimmy will claim the mark, but doesn't realise no one's heard it. And he's got to continue to play. Way to Duggan. Out to Clay Hall. Needed to hang on to the mark and did.
Well, they need to get players like Hall into the game. Don't bat too deep, the Eagles midfielders, in just the 8 possessions so far.
Ball switches it up. Duggan. Jimmy.
You can see his eyes darting. He's trying to go back inside or corridor, or even switch it down, but Freo defended that area.
Goes as long as he can. Jackson, a good spoil from behind. Punched on by Sarong. Murphy Reid always moves pretty casually, but he's so effective, and the delivery is perfect.
And when you can't, there's a player down at the moment, might be Hoff, is it? Is a bit sore. We'll keep an eye on it. Liam Duggan, perhaps. Yes, it is. The captain looks very sore.
He's a corky.
Got crunched, didn't he, in that? Might have been some friendly fire. We'll take a look at it. But when you defend the ground like that and you can actually win the ball off a long down the line, your 450 should be pretty open, and Amos able to lead up into a nice bit of space.
Murphy Reid, the connector. Jai Amos with the opportunity to start the third quarter. They were wayward in the second term, and they continue that trend to begin the third quarter, and some concerns for the Eagles skipper.
It does look like a big corky on that right leg.
Yeah, it was sandwiched Sarong and come off second best.
Yeah, the knee of Hutchinson, perhaps.
Eagles out of defence, show too much of it to Warner. Dangerous spoil, Hoff will take it. He's unsure where to go. Good step on Switkowski. He's normally doing that to other people as Warner still involved. Positioned himself nicely.
You know, they kick so many points, Fremantle. I'm not sure how much work West Coast have done on their point kick-ins, but getting stuck with turnovers from their kicking strategy.
Bolton. Now some space for O'Meara if he wants to launch it from inside 50. Kick to the square, and another behind to the Dockers.
They've had a lot of those long points today, Fremantle, whether it's from set shot and or on the run. So good defending from West Coast, but partly a bit of method from the Dockers, not being able to find another one inside 30 a bit deeper.
This is the third time they find themselves in this spot for their kick-ins. It's trying to spot kick your way through a really good defensive team. It's really difficult. Eventually there's a contest you've got to kick it to.
Brock is up towards Bailey Williams. It's been 30 minutes of play since the Dockers' last goal. Now O'Driscoll into Bolton. Here's an opportunity when you're desperate for a goal and they just cannot find it.
And it starts to play away at your mindset. If you have ball in hand, you keep missing lots of shots. So that's 1 goal, 9 since quarter time.
Yeah, it's an issue, absolutely. And on the flip side, they've spoken about these kick-ins. Try and get a stoppage is the first thing. And if we can get a stoppage,
Well, that one's a good one.
absolutely, that's centimetre perfect, but it's really hard to get that all the time. You know, you've got to have a system in play where it's robust enough to handle a multiple point situation.
So again, they go across the ground, perhaps.
They go backwards to try to switch it up. It's Clayhall who takes it in the back pocket. On a lot down the line. See the situation presented to him. Trying to pick the best option. Goes to the contest. Bailey Williams, Brennan Cox, Cole tackles.
And that's what you have to do. Take the contest on, either take the mark or get a stoppage. Just allow the ground to be set up again and give yourself a chance at a stoppage.
Bolton went after it. O'Meara, Brayshaw dissuaded off the side of the pack. Took it a while to find it. Spins out of a Harley Reid tackle. A good sidestep there for Baker. Straightens the Dockers up. Trying to get them moving. The run continues from Brayshaw. Driving his team forward in long towards Jai Amos, but punched away. Bazzo left his man to send it out.
Yeah, well done from Bazzo. Brayshaw and Voss, not the connection as Amos is coming back to goal. Great spoil it was. There you go, 5 inside 50s to 0. It's just lived in the Dockers forward half, but they haven't scored, so just keeping it ajar.
Jackson in front. Switkowski down there. Flynn on the boot. Ricochets around. Off. Duck kick. Trapped by O'Meara. On the boot. Quick snap. And they're getting further away.
They knew straight away then with that kick. I mean, they've taken 5 marks inside 50, and I spoke before the game about the potency of the tall forwards. It just hasn't been
Connection piece at the moment. It's,
you think it's more the connection than the running patterns of the forwards, or a bit of both?
a bit of both.
Yeah.
Brock for Hoff.
And there's a little bit of good defence as well. I would assume that's happened with these young defenders.
Chinby worked hard to receive.
You can see the intent from West Coast. They want to switch. They don't actually want to kick it to a contest down the line.
Yeah, it's right. We heard McWilder talk at three-quarter time about changing their ball movement from the back half to get a bit more supply. It's not just yet, but this looks like it might come off.
Get it going now. Hall to Brockman. Back over the top. Hard run from Clay Hall, who got away from Clark. Now a couple of bounces. Hall will send the Eagles inside 50 from one end to the other. Bailey Williams knocked it down. Liam Ryan the snap. Well, they're banking on the efficiency going forward. The Eagles have had half chance there from Liam Ryan, but better ball movement that time.
It tends to happen that way, doesn't it? Sometimes one team just peppers the goals and misses, and then the other team just goes the length of the field. Oh, it's across the line.
Just short of Bolton. Recovered okay to Luke Ryan. Now Clark. Slam Duggan. Gives some run for his danger here. They almost open the door. Chapman has to try and recover. Fremantle mucking around with it in defence. Chapman caught, gone, holding the ball. They didn't clear it. Baker got him. And for all of Fremantle's opportunities, now the Eagles get a golden one.
What was that? It was an interesting switch of the ball. Both teams, I mean, the pressure's gone right out of the game. It's become an uncontested mark, kick through the zone type of play, and eventually ball's going to turn over somewhere.
Fremantle so wasteful. West Coast so efficient. They are still right in this game, and it's just an 18-point margin despite the dominance on the stat sheet from the Dockers.
So how many times have we seen it in a game of AFL footy where opposition have lots of inside 50s, lots of shots at goal, and they have had many of those, not only to start this third term, but in this second and third term. So Chapman was out here as well. He just needs to first give it. He tries to take on the world in your back 50, and you're going to get nabbed at some point. First gives, first options, great pressure from Liam Baker. Fundamental skill errors hurting that man on screen.
I mean, the pressure from Fremantle, whether it's uncontested or not, they're sitting at 164 at the moment, which is not what they've been doing of late.
Fair bit of action down on the bench, boys. Liam Duggan's on the bike. He's chatting the doctors. He's been up and down. Not looking very good at this stage for Liam Duggan, the captain.
20 scoring shots. Thanks, Scully on the boundary. Liam Duggan there on the bike. 20 scoring shots to 7, but there's only 3 goals in this game. West Coast have kicked the last 4 of it, and they get it out of the middle here. Harley Reid received from Hewitt. The fend off away from Bolton, stepped inside Clark, stood up in the tackle, sends it to goal. Bounce crucial. Luke Ryan back there as the goalkeeper. Intensity just going up a few notches, and Fremantle being asked some questions.
We saw Fremantle fumble early. Hayden Young on that occasion from the centre square. Fumbles and allows this. The fend off, is it high? No, play on. And then nice run and chase, but just the power of Reid able to stand up.
Just stop there. It's so impressive. Eagles inside their forward 50. Bolton able to get it out. Young just wanted to tap it on, and we get another stoppage.
Well, this is the part of the game. If West Coast can get right, if they can just be competitive and win their fair share of clearances, then the rest of the game's pretty much on even terms.
Great crowd in, enjoying some Saturday afternoon football in the West. Jackson and Flynn. Jackson down. Bolton will get it out of there. O'Meara up the line. Darcy had it punched away. Well played by Bazzo. Harley Reid overran it. O'Meara continuing to run with him.
Pretty well done by Sean Darcy. He's disappointed he dropped the mark, but his follow-up work to lock it in was better. He hasn't had much impact at all, just a couple of disposals.
Have you seen the ruck battle today?
No, it's in favour of Flynn. He's actually been pretty good.
Darcy controls that one. Just wrenches it out of the air, trying to respond as Voss crashed the pack, knocked it down. McCarthy roving. Some bodies sore after that contest. Marek goes across the centre square. Cripps with an important touch down to Owies, but he's trapped. Ripped out of there by Chapman. Now Fremantle can punish on the turnover. Murphy Reid looks up into the pocket. Again, they get a mark inside 50. But the question comes on the accuracy of the set shot.
He just needs to go back and take his 30 seconds. Jai Amerson, he's normally a good shot at goal. Jai, he struggles once it gets it outside about 40, but inside 20 or 30 is generally pretty reliable. This is a tough one left side. That's a tough shot for a left footer, but he's got to eat him.
Dockers have been so wasteful in front of goal in this game. But up steps dead eye Jai. The Docker drought has been broken. And the fights may begin.
umpire there saying Fremantle's already going to want himself the setup. Yeah, it happens, they concede the freeze. You see everyone sprinting back to...
Well, now they just have to focus on the footy. Bluff and bluster only does so much. Pat Voss just better be, and same with Barrett, just go back to position and get it sorted. Giants, what a great kick it was. They needed that. Fremantle. Just settle the game. Great work from Murphy Reid. What happened here? Just a bump off the ball, and then Fremantle didn't like it.
Doesn't take too much to get things going in a derby.
Correct. Especially not Pat Voss. He looks like he's absolutely loving it out there, boys.
Join the contest. A steadier there for Fremantle. Out of the middle, Caleb Sarong will get the clearance away to Darcy and Bolton. As he chips the footy up, finds Witkowski. Stabs the pass in for Voss. On the lead. He was fighting a few moments ago, and now he's taken a big mark inside 50.
Yeah, that's the important bit. So you're going to push and shove and throw your weight around, but then how about get hands on the footy and play as a big key forward and kick a goal? That's the important bit. The dominance again around the centre. Have a look. Just first access to the ball. Sarong to Darcy to Bolton. We talked about it a lot, Simo, but now Voss just needs to take his time and execute. Settle the game down if you're a Dockers fan.
1-3 in the round 3 derby against the Eagles. He was so good last week with the 6 goals. Fremantle wasteful and inaccurate, but now they've found their kicking boots.
Here they go again. You see Voss spooking as we see the runnings build up with the centre bounce into a score from stoppage into another scuffle. When you do this, you just find the line between wrestling and getting a fine. It's pretty important. But look at this centre bounce. You got Bailey Williams clearly winning the hit out, and then the ability to shark a hit out loss and turn it into an advantage is excellent from Fremantle. But unfortunately for West Coast, you're going to try and find a way to get a West Coast Eagles play on the end of that hit out, not by a foot, and in the end it's cost the goal from a centre bounce clearance. The umpire keeps telling Fremantle they've got to be winning, and I'm not sure if that's the umpire's job. Good point.
Back-to-back goals for the Dockers. And out of the middle, they'll win it again. Williams with a hit out, but Brayshaw to Young, a little fumble, but no tackle stuck. Banfield, he's gone this time. He just got his boot to it. Good pressure from the Eagles. Always to Hall, to Reid. And looks up, poor kick, turnover to Clark. Fremantle home crowd enjoyed it. Now they're sensing things might be about to turn as they send it through the centre square. Darcy, that runner's going past, but he's got options. Murphy Reid, again involved. Again the connector. Away to Banfield. Into the hot spot. Back to McCarthy.
Another kick from Bailey Banfield. Trying to bite too much off his that's 50. Was there just a hold after the mark? I think there was from Dudley. He actually had a nice couple of lead-ups. That straight line footy that's been a feature.
They can handle it forward after the 50 to Hoff. And they go inside. Bailey Williams, Chapman with a big spoil. Nice split back to the Eagles. Chapman goes again. Lam Ryan went down low, taken high.
He's been doing that for a few years, Lam, and not getting paid those free kicks. They normally don't give those ones. It's a dip to Lam, but it's a drop of the knees. Absolutely. And that's the challenge for the umpires. You know, in the day gone by, it was just a free kick, it was too high, but you've got to judge where the arm gets pulled over, the legs drop. Do you drive with your head? All those type of things now the umpires have to decide.
Pretty good from this spot throughout his career. Lam Ryan's got 4 goals across his last 3. Again, just to hold the Eagles in the game. He leant back on it very casually and it went out to the right. Down the middle goes Ryan. The Eagles have the number advantage. Cole with the spoil. Kelly Marek feeds it forward. Holt from 50. Clever kick. Pulled it in nicely to find Hewitt.
Yeah, really smart there from Huff, and it was really well done from the Eagles' defence. So Tom Cole read it well. Fremantle often like to separate and then get a midfielder running up or another player running up the middle. They're onto it. The Eagles obviously scouted well. They're able to be right there, outnumbered the contest. Nice little first give, and then good finish from Huff here.
Nigel Hewitt managed out of the side last week. His coach admitted Hewitt wasn't very happy that he had to sit out for a week. He's keen to play. He's got an appetite for the contest, and it is contagious. The set shot errors that we've seen from both teams.
Scully, any update on Duggan? He's back out on the ground now, isn't he?
Yeah, he's back out on the ground. Been watching him closely. The doctors have come out to him twice. He keeps waving them off, but I do think they're a little bit concerned as a 50-metre free kick is being played.
That's the issue, isn't it? Scully, thanks for the update on Liam Duggan, but when there's spot fires everywhere, the umpire are just going to blow the whistle and play free kick. So you were there ready to come back on, to come onto the game, be activated, you think, for Duggan?
Well, if Duggan's back out there, it's probably to get a bit more run off that half-back line. And
terrific kick to find Reid.
to have a look at players like Shanahan and Owies, Archer Reid, they've all had 2 or less possessions.
That's a little kick inside 50. Baker, Hewitt, Duggan. Test out that fork leg of his. Now Harley Reid. Across to Baker. Out towards Owies. Free kick for a chop of the arms.
So Fremantle going by full 60% and West Coast about 70. Both teams butchering the ball.
Skills game. But, you know, the pressure's out there.
Baker down the line. He turns it over. Clark. McDonald's all the way back to Luke Ryan.
And this is the type of game when the pressure does come out of the game, when these type of slow switch kicks happen and spot kicks. You know, you can debate the style of play, but when it happens for both teams, then you get a low pressure game.
Play on.
Oscar McDonald. Long ball. Jackson up. Murphy Reid. Way to O'Driscoll. Just backed off it by Baker. Spills back the way of the Eagles. Bailey Williams inside 50. Warner went back with courage to knock it down. Not quite sure what was approaching from behind him. He went back to find the footy. Now he'll get a kick. Back out to half-back. Bolton was wanting to leap. Jackson there. Swiped away. Bailey Williams, Baker, Kelly, Eagles on the charge. Out wide to Cripps. Constetti from range. Across the face.
Got a little 5 minutes of dominance, West Coast. Out 3 behinds only, but the first time we've really seen them get the game played in that half.
Yeah, it's been a feature of their game when they have been at their best. 1 goal forward and 2 goals 3. We talked about the inefficiency this quarter, but particularly Fremantle following on from that awful second quarter in front of goal.
Ryan's long kick. Off hands, Murphy Reid. Tries to shake away from Marek. Creative kick. Back through the middle of the ground. Bolton, Brayshaw, Sukowski, Bolton is out and in open space. He looks inside 50. Jai Amos, the target. All set up for that kicking ball from Murphy Reid under pressure. And it just allowed Freo to make their way up the field.
That's a great pair of hands in the end from Jai Amos. He was under real pressure. The ball set up from Bolton. Strong hands, but exactly right. It was set up from the kick from Murphy Reid. Been a bit critical of how the Dockers have used the ball at times. But that one opened them up and they're away.
Going to cash in on some goals. Jai Amos already 2 to his name. Push the margin out past 30. Amos sends it near side.
Second one that he's pulled to the right from that part of the ground as the sub is activated.
Yeah, that's Tyrell Dewar. He's onto the ground. For Matt Owies, it's a tactical sub. West Coast to pull the trigger.
2 metres.
In the corner making the change.
Always just the 3 possessions for the day. No real impact, so they'll mix that up a little bit.
Tyrell Dewar has at times been able to give West Coast a bit of run, carry in games this season. Punched away on the wing. Kelly. Punched out of it by Bolt. Clean pick up by Brock. Swoops a handball inside for Marek. Cole left it behind. Switkowski just volleyed it up to himself on his boot. That was clever. Now Tracy. Away to Sarong on the burst. Inside 50. Voss. No. Dropped it. Under pressure now from Brock. Still a chance with the bend. Away to Snap. Inside trying to do it himself.
Yeah, first give there. Murphy Reid was there on the take on the world.
Game's really opened up a little bit. This quarter hasn't been a great spectacle, but still some hope there for West Coast if they get the next one.
Bailey Williams hands to it. Rockman past McDonald's. Williams, Cole, Marek, Harley Reid. Caught a play on, wasn't a 15 then. And now Fremantle get the turnover. Murphy Reid, Switkowski to Voss. He'll give the handball this time to Brayshaw. Off in to crunch him. Swivel of the hips. Straight from Brayshaw. Away to Young. A classy finisher. Three goals to Hayden Young. And a big blow landed against the Costown Rock.
I'll get another look at that 15 metres. Was it touched for Harley? Don't know exactly what happened, but he was caught unawares. And when you turn over the ball and that area of the ground, obviously not 15.
Well, it was pretty close. It was, you know, when you do turn the ball over there, you are vulnerable, isn't it? Yeah.
And look at this. Andy Brayshaw, bang, take on the tackle. It's your body, and then gives it to the player on the ground. You don't want the ball in the hands. I've had a lot of shots around that area today, Fremantle, say 40 to 50. And on this occasion, the class of Hayden Young rises.
Well, it's a class in the midfield too. I mean, Sarong's getting well held. He's at 14 possessions, not really made any impact, but Brayshaw, Bolt and Young all up around the 20 possession plus.
Back in the middle we go. Crashing over the top of it again. And a high tackle goes away.
Hey, lots of free kicks today.
Off Baker. McCarthy with some run and dash and carry. He chips the ball up inside 50. Flynn and Darcy went at it slowly but got it to Kelly. He's knocked down by the Dockers defence. Chapman unsure, slips over. Brendan Cox. Eagles a chance. He's coughed it straight up to Cripps. Who snaps. And he sends it out of bounds on the field.
Boys, I know we just saw Hayden Young kick a ripper, but we know he's had injury issues. He was sub last week. Do you start looking at making potentially the sub there for Hayden Young?
I would, if you can manage his minutes, Scully, well enough, I'd push him through for a whole game. Ideally, get him to a position where, you know, he's not playing a huge amount of game time in this last quarter, but you still want him for a full game. Maybe one of the wingers or a high half forward.
Murphy Reid involved again. Pulling the connector a few times. He's had equal career high 10 score involvements today so far, Murphy Reid. Off the possession there, but he'll get it back. As now Baker, tackled by O'Meara. Reid involved again as he slips through a tackle. A first-year player just looking so composed. And then a kick goes up inside 50. Jackson almost. Dudley down there. Jackson trying to rove it. Dudley waiting in support. Fremantle with numbers. Not 15 for Bolton. Didn't matter for him. He tumbled it instead of kicking it in the air and add another behind to the tally.
Just a bit of composure there. Duggan, he's very, very sore, isn't he? But again, the ability to stand up in some tackles and take the heat. The Dockers are looking far superior in that area of the ground. Scores his third quarter. That's 9 score shots to 5. And the team being that accurate.
Strong hands from Shanahan.
Runs and jumps well. The ball doesn't.
He does. He's got good strength through. I think he's 18 years old, so some talent coming through, but just lack of leadership and experience in the moment is hurting West Coast.
Freo crowd showing their appreciation for Harley Reid. Eagles will take it on. Hutchinson up to the 50. Archer Reid in the air. Benfield tackled right by Baker. Kelly. Finn there on Clark. Got it up to Cole. Lost his footing, got it back to Hutchinson. It bounces off a tackle. Fremantle was threatening to win it back. Amos, Harley Reid drew him down into the turf and holding the ball. Amos was trying to shrug the tackler off. And Harley Reid with the strength to bring him down.
It was interesting first tap from Amos. Not sure why he didn't take it, then just a first give to Frederick. Maybe he was trying to get a little bit of space from Reid. It was a really nice tackle again.
Yeah, they've been down at contested possessions again. West Coast minus 23 for the day, so I see some fight there.
Hutchinson into the hot spot. Flynn. Young did well to bring it down. Bolton straight into a tackle. All the numbers around this ball up. Flynn knocked it on. Jewell was doing up his boots and then received it. McDonald shrugged one, ducked into another, and holding the ball is the call. Freo wanted a high tackle.
I think as soon as it wasn't paid high, it was holding the ball. Still plenty of push and shove going on, which was tempting. So was that high? No, it wasn't. And then maybe the second on the side. But as soon as you have any type of opportunity, the umpires are red hot. We know that.
And Tim Kelly for disposal number 20. It'll be his first 20 disposal game since round 6 against Essendon. He's been back in amongst the midfield today. He's had more of an impact. Already kicked the goal in this one. And he steps up to slot his second on the siren at three-quarter time. The margin back to 30. Tim Kelly bouncing back to a bit of form. With 20 disposals and 2 goals. Is there still a twist in the tail in Derby 61? The Dockers lead it by 30 points.
All right, there we go. That's a little bit more like it. Of course, we had the late goal from Tim Kelly, pretty much on the siren there for the West Coast Eagles. But it's the Dockers 10-16-76, leading the West Coast Eagles 7-4-46. West Coast Eagles putting on 2 goals 4 in that third term. Of course, the Fremantle Dockers 3 goals 6. I tell you what, they're kicking wayward. They had the yips. It took a fair bit before the Dockers got back on track, kicking a goal. Nice to see, though. 22-point margin was the margin at half-time. Dockers, 30 points now. 30 points, Eddie G. They have, things have just started to go a little bit better for them, and they got back on the bike. So, I'm sure the coach will be happy. They sort of got back on track a little bit at three-quarter time. And he'll be saying, boys, come on, we need to pull our finger out. We need to run this game right out. This is what they need to do. This is what they need to do. Just play the game out, get it on their, just play this final quarter out on their terms and show the West Coast Eagles and the home crowd, the Derby crowd, what the Dockers are made of, and show the crowd that they're actually real pretenders and I should say real contenders and not pretenders for this season's battle. All right, the live ladder for you, Eddie G. There we go. There's the live ladder. Freo still 6. Just have a look at the percentage with the live ladder off. They were sitting 7th. 108.9 was their percent. Turning that back on, they picked up nearly 2% today so far, so they need to keep extending this lead. As we're saying, they need to close this margin here between the percentages of Rockabilly. How you going? Go Pie. Yeah, I'm a Pies supporter. We'll definitely cover the Collingwood game tomorrow. Should be an absolute crack. Collingwood taking on Richmond, I think, tomorrow. Should be good. Goal scorers, Hayden Young and Michael Frederick, top of the table with 3 goals apiece for the Fremantle Dockers. Of course, DJI Miss has 2. Paddy Voss, I tell you what, Paddy Voss. Oh, it's a battle out there. Paddy Voss for Freo or Harley Reid for the Eagles. Who gets them more angry with the other players? I tell you what, they're like twins, those two boys. They're like twins, Patrick Voss and Harley Reid. Anyway, there we go. I've lost count. Giant Miss with 2. Isaac Dudley has 1 with, and there are your goal scorers, of course, for the Eagles. Tim Kelly having a cracking best game he's had all season, and Jamie Cripps with 2 goals. Harley Reid 1, Brockman, Baker. I tell you what, Baker's playing a pretty good game there for the West Coast Eagles. As we have a look at the disposals up until three-quarter time. Andy Brayshaw leads the way. 24-4 clear of Tim Kelly from the Eagles. As I said, Tim Kelly having the best game of the season for the Eagles so far, with 20 disposals up until three-quarter time, 5 clearances, 2 goals. He's having a cracking game. Shai Bolton coming into the game nicely with 20. Hayden Young, 18 touches, 6 clearances, 3 goals. He's having a ring-a-ding-ding game, I'll tell you that. Also, Liam Baker, tell you what, he's a little terrier, isn't he, for the West Coast Eagles. He's always there, snapping on the heels at the Dockers players, but he's having a good game. Liam Baker, 16. Luke Jackson on 5th. That's the big ruckman, isn't it, Luke Jackson? Just a 7 hit out, so I'd like to see him get into the action, kick a goal or 2 in the final term. That would be good. Caleb Sarong, still quiet. He's only had the 14. I'll tell you what, he could put up a big final quarter for the Dockers, get this lead extended. We're still trying to cheer on. I think Anthony was 91 to 105 for the Freo score at the end. We're still cheering on that. All right, there are your player stats. Let me just roll this back up. There we go. So we're looking at about, what's that, 19 to 30 odd points there for Anthony. Hopefully we'll get there. But there we go. Hey, that's three-quarter time. The Dockers, they should come away with a win here. But the Eagles will press. The Eagles are out there to flex their muscles a little bit and try and play some good football. Try to give the Dockers a little bit of a scare out there. They'll put the pressure on, no doubt about that. The Eagles going in with a little bit of confidence anyway with that final goal on the siren. It always gives the team a little bit of confidence, knowing that the last goal scorer of the quarter. There we go. So the Dockers coach there just having a good word to the players in the huddle, saying this is what we're going to do. We're going to go here. We're going to go to direct, play our game. Don't let the West Coast put the pressure on and take our way of game plan away from us. We need to play it this final term on our terms and stretch this margin out as far as possible. All right, folks. Hey, let's head back down to the action. Where it's the Dockers by 30 points. Let's go to the final quarter.
To them just coming back into this side, I'd be very surprised if they just keep him out there all day. And if it all goes well, I reckon Erasmus will come on for him.
I don't disagree with you, Scully, as the coach. Simo, what's your instinctive thoughts on this one?
Well, they would have gone into the game with minutes in mind. He's played 62 minutes, so I reckon we're going to play 80 minutes, or you play your full strength and you sub him at the start of the last, like Scully suggested. So I'd say they're on plan with just an 80-minute game.
Coming back from a couple of hamstring injuries this season, Hayden Young. Final quarter to get underway. Can the Eagles find a couple of quick ones to start? Or do the Dockers power home? Derby 61, final quarter, Optus Stadium, Saturday afternoon footy. There's Darcy on the boot, out of the middle. Murphy Reid was the target. Ball knocked away. Marek under pressure immediately. O'Meara overran it. Playhall. Marek and Harley Reid in support. Squeezes a kick forward. Well attacked by Chapman, who's played a good game. Now Young to Brayshaw, connecting for Murphy Reid. Short pass. Luke Jackson will take the mark. He thought about giving it back to Murphy Reid.
More than thought about it.
I don't know if he thought it was 15. That's what I think he was waiting for. You have to go off your line, though, don't you? That is the...
No, I thought it used to be if you feigned to handball because you want to disrupt the stand or that it was automatic play on, but clearly that's not, because of course of this season it happens all the time where they...
Did he go off his line? We didn't quite see it there, but that is the question, if he took a step inside. Luke Jackson with an opportunity. He certainly has been a goal kicker this season. He's kicked some goals in big moments for Fremantle. He's lethal. Off the set shot is Luke.
Well, how many times in the last 7 weeks have we seen Darcy and Jackson in the last quarter just elevate their games? And already you see Darcy grab the ball out of the ruck. You see Jackson impact the scoreboard. In fact, I'd say almost at the start of every last quarter in the last 5 weeks, they've had some sort of impact. Definitely a few weeks ago against Hawthorn. And we saw it then, and already Flynn is out of the ruck and Bailey Williams is in, and it wears you down. If you're a ruckman on your own for the predominantly the most part of the game, you do get worn out. So the strategy, which was criticised a lot early on in the year, has now become a real strength.
That's the 1-2 punch. So you tire out the ruckman in the centre of the ground. You've got the ability to put Luke Jackson up forward, who is just so lethal and loves the big moments to kick the goals when it matters most.
Another score involvement for Murphy Reid in that chain too. To 11 for the game. Is out of the middle. Hayden Young just left it behind. And then Hoff is tackled. In fact, 12 score involvements now for Murphy Reid. That's a big game. It's huge from the youngster.
Holding, Fremantle, Benny.
And taken away. Most players stop. Sarong kept it going, and Jackson inside 50. Bazzo the spoil. Bolton weaves, dribbles, rolls it home. Now the highlights start to come. And Shea Bolton arrives on the scene.
Hasn't had a huge day in front of the scoreboard, a bit wasteful, but how about the finish here from Shea Bolton? Again, Luke Jackson involved again. A clearance. Sean Darcy, huge. It was a free kick to him. It was played advantage. And what about we just celebrate this? Magnificent work from Shea Bolton. Oh, look at this, how he hits the contest. Bang. With speed. Everyone else was waiting. He went through the line of the footy, and that is just a magnificent finish on the left.
I reckon they would have spoken at three-quarter time, the players, about their pressure and their turnovers. They've only had 4.5 turnovers. The pressure's been around 160, but the clearance work's been strong all day. So get the clearance work right, increase the pressure, and really do some damage to West Coast.
Senior players got together. They had a chat about it at three-quarter time before the coaches, and a quick response to them. Out of the break, Liam Ryan up. And a free kick will go the Eagles' way.
Yeah, definitely they're dragging down. Luke Ryan not happy with it, but it was a free kick, and Liam Ryan with an opportunity to hit back. Just that left arm around. Not a huge amount in it, but umpire going to give those all day.
Directly in front. A slip shot at the other end. He sprayed it out to the right. This one he hooks to the left.
He leans back on it. It's always a vulnerability for him. But, normally knows how to correct himself if he misses one.
Clark out of fullback. Casual run and long ball. Brock in front. Sarong in and under. Took the contact, got the handball. Switkowski to Jackson. Inboard. Young had Frederick there. Trying to open it up off that left boot. The option is Tracy. Fremantle have come out fired up to start this final quarter. And they want to punish to start this final term. There's Tracy now calling for someone to go at him. Frederick, couple of bites at it. Switkowski pitched it away from Oldham. He's rolled through another. We're going to get it checked. Did it hit the post on the way through?
Touch, perhaps.
Score review.
Review underway.
Should be a quick one. The players setting up some pretty good indication.
Look at this angle because it was touched on the left hand of the West Coast.
Just getting a hand in there. So that'll provide Switkowski a goal.
Neil Erasmus doing some work down here on the boundary. Number 8 is on the board to come off. There's Brayshaw.
It cost him the medal.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to sub him off.
Keep an eye on that. Goalkeeper's informed us. A kick out to half back and the mark to Jimmy. He stabs it in short for Hoff. Jimmy with some run and carry. Sends it as long as he can to half forward. Clark punched it on straight to Liam Ryan. Goes too wide of Archer Reid. Hutchinson is there. Knocked it back over his head and taken it over and
See Jimby rebounding pretty heavily across half back. We've seen him with quite a bit of the ball. Actually done a decent job. And Josh Tracy as well.
Tracy's form of late hasn't really hit the same heights.
Not scoreboard wise. I think he's been very good up the ground, but absolutely hasn't been hitting the scoreboard.
will send in, knocked down. Young punched away. Murphy Reid trying to get onto it again. Jackson tackled strongly by Marek.
I think Tracy's bullet can work up in between the arcs as allowed someone like Voss and to a certain extent Amos to find a little bit more of his form, but yeah, he hasn't actually hit the scoreboard much.
Knocked down Jackson after it. Flynn. The tackle. Swikowski. Darcy. And now away with Brayshaw with a run and a bounce, and that carry continues up for Young, who's been a forward threat. Within range. He's a long kick. He's just going to tee it up to the top of the square. Cole punched it down. Bolton waited for it. And it's over.
It's interesting, there's a few off-ball runners there. Similar didn't hit him, but
Yeah. Well, there's some strategy too. I mean, Jackson gets done at a stoppage, so he flips with Young. Young goes forward and Jackson stays as a mid, and they flip back over. Really good synergy with some of these leaders.
Flynn the hit out. If you read tackles. All locked in there. Hutchinson emerged with it. Bolton went without it. Hutchinson tackled him without the football. Brock, O'Meara, Brayshaw again trying to drive forward. Young is tackled.
It's all part of the strategy with Young playing forward a bit more. He's kicked the 3 goals, probably as a midfielder to be honest, but that helps manage his game as well.
Darcy's hit out for Sarong. Ball along the boundary line, and Marek will see it out.
that's a weapon, isn't it, when you got Hayden Young and can go and play forward, and he is so good overhead. Of course, started his career as a halfback flanker and has developed into this big body mid who can play forward.
Flynn down to the front. Jackson up there. Spills to Young. Baker creatively along the grounds. Brock just heaves the footy up to half-back. Chapman involved. Reid knocked it on. Now the Eagles are away. Liam Ryan flying up the field, and he'll send it inside 50 for Cripps, but Amos is back there in defence, doing the hard things. Backward of centre is the key forward.
Yeah, so he's actually playing wing at this particular point of the ground, and that's what you have to do if you're going to play wing and be a role player. We're going to have to get back and help your defence. He came from a long way away there, Jai Amos.
Seen Josh Tracy go back in recent weeks and take marks deep in games, so all the players buying in. There's Clark just trying to get through.
Now there's a chance to try different things. The game's in the bag, and they've been trying that for a little bit. Young forward, playing deep forward at the moment. Jackson on ball.
Volley down the air by Baker. Craftily done. Warner back to Clark. And pressured in their defensive 50. The Dockers. Jackson there. Good reach from Liam Ryan. Brayshaw away to Bolton. And the Fremantle free kick will come back. Bit of holding going on.
Baker, he's been better in the second half. He's played on ball. Hall's gone out to the wing. He's got a bit of ball himself. So both clubs using the opportunity to experiment a little.
Brayshaw up to 28 disposals in the game. As the Dockers work their way up the wing. Murphy Reid again taking them on. He looks such a talent. One of the favourites for the Rising Star. He's had a big impact on this one. He's going to get involved again here, Murphy Reid, as he receives, pushes forward, sends it inside 50. Frederick dropped it, regained it. He's looking for the career high. Michael Frederick will never fall.
Michael Frederick with 4 goals. Probably should have taken them up, but what a wonderful finish in the end. Just too easy. Right foot snap, but Murphy Reid too. So this young kid, he's up to 21 disposals now. Had 13 score involvements, the most on the ground. So he was in the shoebox down here at centre wing, and then just released forward, hard forward. The ball kept in motion. This was a classy kick again to a dangerous spot. And Frederick says that's too easy to take the mark. I'll just go around on the right and kick a nice snapshot. But Murphy Reid is having some type of game.
See Erasmus on ball. Scully, any sub situation out there?
Yes, mate. The man we highlighted at the three-quarter time, Hayden Young, has been subbed out of the game. Looks like tactically he was looking pretty tired behind the footy. It looks like West Coast gets a warning, but Neil Erasmus will enjoy these minutes on ground. They don't have a great deal of depth in the midfield, so they had to keep him going for the rest of the year.
Murphy Reid, we highlighted there. the 5 score assists. He's now got 6. Only 2 other players have done that in a game before turning 19. Trent Cotchin and Cyril Rioli.
Fair company.
Some elite company there, Murphy Reid.
He's having an incredible first season, Murphy Reid. Justin Lemieux frustrated about something that happened, but they had pulled that sub, Hayden Young off, Neil Rasmus into the game.
So if you had to pick the medal, do you disregard the fact he's come off for the last 15 minutes?
Have to, don't you?
I think you do.
Well, this kick goes wide, straight to the boundary. That'll be insufficient intent. Something for the Eagles fans to get up out of the seat about.
On the line, well, you.
That's a kick.
Into a dangerous area off hands. This is where Fremantle want to punish on that turnover. So wrong into the path of Bolton. Run of O'Meara. The overlap inside 50 to Voss.
We talked about the dangerous kick. Well, it's risk reward, isn't it? Because if that comes off, West Coast are probably having a shot, but it was a low percentage. And it was to a spot on the ground where Freo actually had some outnumber. Even had time there to miss the handball from Sarong and then just pass it over to Voss inside 50.
1 goal 2 before the kick on the afternoon for Patrick Voss to push the margin above 50. It looks good off the boot and he slams it through. And he's enjoying his work this time at the top level. And the Freo fans are feeling pretty good about a 54-point margin.
Well, if you had to script a game in your Fremantle, this is what you'd like. You know, if Young was a tactical sub, that's a perfect game for him. He's played the 74 minutes. Good call from Scully at 3/4 time. Smart move in the end. And whatever the message was from the players, and then obviously the coaches as well at 3/4 time, what kind of impact do you want to have on this game? Do you want to just win by 30, 40 points, or do you want to really drive it home? And you don't mention percentage when you're a coach. You've just mentioned doing the basic things better, but you see that 112%, they're going to get another 4 or 5 goals for them, hopefully, this quarter.
They were on 108% before this game, so building Fremantle, it's going to be important with those finishing positions inside the top 8. Free kick advantage paid to Fremantle. They drive it in for Tracy. Attracted a crowd. Switkowski at ground level. Jinby going after it. He was crunched. Cripps was clean. It's a back to Kelly. Hard work. Great take by Shanahan.
Yeah, he shows a bit. We talked about it throughout the call. His pair of hands, he leads. He presents up with the ball. Luke Ryan, a very good defender, was right there with him. A bit to like with Archer Reid and Shanahan if you're a West Coast supporter.
Jinby up the wing. It's enough entries inside 50. Give them some chances as the kick from McCarthy in short to Cripps. Look inside the arc now. Short ball. Liam Ryan.
Not sure we've got the legs. Liam Ryan.
Around there, perhaps, give him the arc.
I don't underestimate the injuries he's had to his hamstrings.
He's going to chip it in for Baker. Instead, a bit of miscommunication in the Dockers' defence. Left that pocket of space, and Baker was willing to accept.
Yeah, Clark and Bolton and Sarong all there, and we'll feed back to one another, I think, about playing the game out. We saw them at 3/4 time, the Dockers leaders.
Starting to get tough for the Eagles, but Baker gets one back for West Coast.
You see someone that you may have activated it inside or on ball a little bit earlier today.
Look, I think he's probably most suited at the moment around the ball with their clearance issues, and obviously there's a longer-term strategy that McQuaid was trying to get through and playing him half forward. Started the year half back and on ball, so just had a little bit of a miss to fix it type of situation, but at the moment it's the midfield that's conceding the most damage, and the young defenders can't really stand up with the type of supply that's come in this particular game. So yeah, being around the ball has been important. He's gone back forward at the moment with Tim Kelly, Harley and Hoff, who's done a pretty good job on Sarong. He must admit, with all the dominance, he's held Sarong pretty well.
Darcy with a hit out.
Lots of free kicks today, isn't it?
Yeah.
So both teams in their 20s by now. Not sure it's great for the game either.
High contact on the film, just reaching over. Or a hold. She goes deep inside 50. Harley was up. He was going for the hanger. He almost had it too. Now Amos. Brayshaw. For Clark. And up to half back. Erasmus keen to get a few touches of the footy in this final quarter after being subbed on. Speculation about his future down the picking order in the midfield at the Dockers. A few other clubs keen on his services. Potentially the other side out there playing today. Erasmus lays a good tackle, but it was high contact initially. Now McCarthy. That was a high ball inside 50. Bailey Williams hands to it. Cripps got it out. Williams shoveled it back. Erasmus. Fresh legs. Coughs it up though. Cripps. Baker. Looks short and wide for Shanahan. They had to awkwardly take it down low as he landed on the point of his shoulder.
It's tough for Erasmus, isn't it, to come in? Yeah, the game's sort of been going for 3 and a bit quarters, to come in and try and be clean and have an impact and get the rhythm as we see a centre kick.
Well, not 15. It looked to have to continue to play. Harley Reid, Shanahan, coming up to Luke Ryan, and then Clark. So don't kick out of defence, but Tracy works so hard to bring it to ground.
I said this before, the craft of the forwards, the key forwards at Fremantle, and Jamie Graham and the work he does on that forward line is best in the competition from a craft point of view. And what I see in most weeks, all three of them are centimetre perfect with their craft.
Brayshaw, been so busy. Frederick, Erasmus, and now Clark. Fleet of foot, and the execution for Voss on the 50. Open forward line again. He's got plenty of options. That's Murphy Reid. He's been the distributor all afternoon and a chance to hit the scoreboard himself.
He's certainly putting his name up on the lights for the medal. Is Murphy Reid. He's had a huge impact on this game. It's an interesting conversation, the three keys, because you have to have that craft and the forward pressure with you've been playing three key forwards. Otherwise, you're going to get exposed on the rebound and exposed at ground level. But you're right, these three actually work pretty well together.
And then you put in a Jackson and Darcy as well, so a bit more Jackson and Darcy as a forward.
Pick 17 in last year's draft. Murphy Reid is a star on the rise.
He's a star right now. He's had a huge day, is Murphy Reid. 22 disposals. When everyone else out in the field been butchering it with foot, this guy just stands out. He's had 11 kicks and he's basically hit the target with most of those. Brilliant work here from the stoppage. Brayshaw over to Frederick, to Erasmus, and then get your running half-backs involved. When Jordan Clark gets the ball, often something happens, and like this from Voss, lower the eyes, kick it to your forwards or repositioning, and this guy is having a wonderful first year of AFL footy.
He's not favourite for the rising star with Curtin and who else is there that's in the mix?
He's certainly throwing his name up a bit further today to press his case.
Levi Ashcroft is the other. It's a pretty good race for that award.
Back in the middle. Harley Reid threw it away. And Fremantle come up with it. Darcy up towards Voss. Brock with a good spoil. Bouncing footy towards the boundary line. Kept in nicely by Hutchinson. And McCarthy. Rockers continue to press. McCarthy ran himself into trouble. Flicked out the handball to Hutchinson. And now Brock making an escape up towards Hoff. Good mark under some pressure from Erasmus. McCarthy. It's an option. Harley Reid in front. And he's battled hard all day. Reid at one end, and Reid at the other.
He's had some moments. Harley Reid, 14 disposals. Really nice goal in the second term. It's Jago Mira's done the job on him, basically.
Big boos going around the stadium. Bit bizarre behaviour from the Freo fans.
Getting stuck into the young Eagles star. There's Murphy Reid at one end, Harley Reid at the other. Both fans are debaters to which is the better Reid. And Harley tells the crowd just to quieten down a touch because he's kicked a goal.
He's had a pretty good month of footy, Pav.
Yes. Yep.
Worked his way into the season. There's question marks on his fitness in the off-season. I think he was carrying some injuries as well, and that's really difficult to get to your full-strength fitness. And there's still some things there that needs to be worked on with free kicks and all these other things that we see. But underneath it all, there's a pretty good player there. I'm sure we'll see. I'm sure we'll see shine in the future.
Yeah, the talent's obvious to see, isn't it?
I mean, he's almost been their best mid again. Just with the 15 touches, he's kicked the 2 goals. It's just where they're lacking at the moment. Tim Kelly's been okay, 21 possessions, but impact-wise,
Back we go again in the middle. Good hit out from Flynn. Kelly has been busy today. Hewitt, Baker, Flynn emerging up the front of the stoppage. He feigned the handball. The big man went inside 50 almost. Found Bailey Williams. And a good tackle laid by Warner. Bright sunshine all afternoon. 54,384 fans in for Derby number 61. Majority of them Fremantle fans. As the free kick their advantage taken. Warner sends it up the wing. Tracy with strong hands.
Really nice kick from Warner.
And he quickly releases the kick in for Switkowski. He placed it to perfection. The mark not held. Couldn't hang on. Time to recover. And Sam Switkowski will bury it.
Just magnificent by foot from both Warner and Tracy, the release. So that's actually from another score from stoppage. There's the blood rule. It's 15 scoring stops from stoppages, 8 goals, that's their 8th. Look at this kick though from Tracy. Couldn't have laid it in a better spot if he tried. I know Duggan's been a bit sore after that big corky. Sam Switkowski though, what a player, how important he is. Which is big news here, Harley Reid.
There's just real concerns from West Coast with Harley Reid being helped from the ground.
and he landed really heavily on his side, whether it's a rib type of area or lower leg.
In that last stoppage?
Yeah, no, it was the marking contest, right? The stoppage in the defensive 50 for Fremantle. I think he just landed really heavily on his side.
Better sign here as he's able to get from the ground by himself, but for the reception as he crosses the boundary line.
So sore during the week, perhaps last year. Every week his recovery was, it took 2 or 3 days because it's such a young player, but putting his body on the line. Not many inside mids who are 19 years old.
Crash and crash nature of the way that he plays.
He's going straight downstairs with the doctors by his side. Freo fans clapped him off, by the way.
He did show appreciation for the injured player coming from the field. We hope that Harley Reid, it's not too significant. He goes down the race. Kelly. Big bump from Switkowski. That got right under the shoulder of Hewitt. That was a big hit in this one, and Hewitt is sore. He's just at an awkward angle as Switkowski was coming in to put that physical pressure on.
There's always a danger when you bump, but that's was coming forward to put pressure on. Looks as though Hewitt's up and moving. Definitely sore on that shoulder, but nothing around the head region by the looks, so should be fine there. Switkowski looks really sore though, Hewitt, that right arm.
Erasmus hungry for it. Kelly got it out of there. Rockman didn't give it first time. Flynn stripped by Erasmus. Darcy, Erasmus, Bolton just waiting to the side of the pack because he always thinks the goals. And from 50, let it go. It's out to the right.
He needs to get that bounce out of his game, Shea Bolton, after 3 steps because he put himself under pressure. He could have run 10 metres and just had the shot from 52. score from stoppages, 8-8, 16 scoring shots to 4. It's been a demolition from the Dockers.
It's a massive amount of scoring shots from Fremantle overall compared to West Coast.
Well, it's been a bit of a weird one. They've only had 15 front half turnovers, Fremantle, so it hasn't been a forward half dominance. It's been stoppages or back half transition. So, you know, continue to evolve this club about how they score and what their profile looks like.
Brayshaw inside 50. Jai Amos on the mark.
This is brilliant. Sean Darcy to Andy Brayshaw. It's too easy. And then the connection. Great kick from Brayshaw to Amos. They're getting around each other, Darcy and Brayshaw. And so they should. Look at this. On the fly, out the front. You hit your key forward. Could not draw it up better.
Perfect away from the stoppage. The Dockers. Amos with 2 goals, 2. I think 1 out on the full this afternoon. He's the one that broke the drought to get Fremantle going after they were so inaccurate early. But now they are cashing in on their way to a big derby victory.
Well, I spoke about stoppages or your back half forward movement, but the clearance work in your front half has been so good. You look at the craft here, Pat. Just talk us through what happens here.
It's obviously communication. It's the work from Darcy to Brayshaw is really important as well. There's a little bit of, you can see where he comes from, gets a little bit of a block, gets on the outside. But then have a look at Amos. So he holds and pushes. So you're creating that space where the drop of the ball is going to go. Amos, I think in the past, has been caught up too much in those one-on-ones and not actually moving. So he's able to get on the 45, push his opponent away from where the ball's going to drop and then comes back to that space.
3 goals for Jai Amos. He's finding some form. All bounced in the middle. The Freo crowd enjoying every moment. Serrano there from O'Driscoll. Good to see that Hewitt's okay. Over the top, Hutchinson dragged it back in when he was on the ground and will be in trouble.
O'Driscoll's had a bit of a tough day, and that can happen sometimes when you're stuck out in the wing. You don't get a huge amount of it or have a massive impact. Freo won 7 of the last derbies, and they'll continue on that way, but that's a shot.
Another poor kick as Cripps sent it inside. Dewar running after the footy. Warner ran into trouble.
How far is Pearce away from return of form?
He's a week-to-week proposition. Just when we were speaking this week that it potentially be back next week.
Nice little asking, boys. He's just around the corner from me there on the boundary.
Yeah, return from injury, I should say, not from form.
Dealing with that soreness in his leg. Sort of try to manage him through the training loads and see how it responds. And if he's feeling okay, then he'll make his return. One game against the Swans a couple of weeks ago. Just missed a fair bit of footy. High ball goes in. Liam Ryan! Leaping! Nice and high.
Wow, well done. Talking briefly before the game to him about hasn't taken a hanger for a while.
That's a decent one to add to the highlight reel. Sit back and admire it.
It's goal of the year, mark of the year, back-to-back, isn't it, boys? Back-to-back weeks.
They kicked a great goal last week against the Tigers from that pocket. Likes that area on the grounds. Can he cap it off with a goal? The snap is true. He's a highlight reel. Is Liam Ryan. And I reckon we can enjoy that one a few more times.
That's one of the great highlights, probably the best highlight of our game, isn't it? The 3 or 4 steps and then take a huge sit on an opposition player. That's just wonderful to see. I know there are some talk in the game where concussion, head knocks and all these things, but you cannot take this out of the game. This is just pure footy.
How do you get more contested marks in a game? We average 20 a game now, contested marks, and those are, I mean, it was a real decent injury he had on both hamstrings, tendon injuries. It's taken away a little bit of his leap in recent times, but didn't look too bad then.
Mark of the year back in 2019. A big grab over the top of Max Gawn in the goal square. That's a great sit that time. Rasmus in there, Jackson after it, Kelly. Back for Cripps. He'll send it inside 50. Dewar. A chance for a couple of late ones for the Eagles.
Well, he had the 40 inside 50s today, so that supply is always going to be concerned, particularly how much they've been convincingly beaten around the ball. Clearance dominance for Freo has given them ground position.
Dewar, 4 goals this season. Starting sub today for the Eagles, making the most of an opportunity late in the game.
A couple of late goals gets it back under 50 points when sort of almost looked like it was going to be a certain 10-goal plus victory late this last term, but better here. Baker, strong tackle. Jackson overruns it a bit. And you can see where he comes from. That's a nice mark in the end, a good finish. Good young player. They've got a few of these who they're going to have to find out a lot about them in the last month of the year and then across the pre-season. Are they actually going to be a part of the next Eagles team in the future that gets back to challenging?
Big pre-season and coming up in a big 4 weeks for Fremantle. You see Carlton, Port Adelaide, Brisbane, the Bulldogs, and that last game of the year could be the biggest game. So prepared well today.
To play out of the middle. There's a tumbling ball inside 50 again. Well taken by Shanahan. They held up the 2 minutes remaining in Derby 61.
So they're leading by 30 points at three-quarter time. The Dockers have now extended that by another 19 points. They've just dropped their guard a little bit here the last couple of minutes.
Hewitt searching for the tackle and received a high infringement.
The conversation with McGoldrick after the game is probably going to be, listen, we could have really turned our toes up in the last 10 minutes, and whether Fremantle dropped off or not doesn't matter. It's finish the game out as best you can and try and take a few little positives. What's been a really tough year, let's be honest, for West Coast.
Elijah Hewitt
talking to Voss as he was kicking it.
Casual approach. And he gets it done. The chat continues out there. He's happy with the finish. Fremantle were looking for the percentage boost of it. The Eagles hit back with a few late, just to reduce it down.
It's been from centre square bounce the last 2 or 3 where Freo been a bit sloppy. There's a free kick.
A lot of scoffing going on.
You're kidding me, is what he said.
Been plenty of whistles today, haven't there, for both teams?
Yeah.
Margin back to 43. Goal to Elijah Hewitt.
It does affect your percentage, the last 3 goals.
I just feel like it's going to be so critical to show Fremantle's run home. Those teams that they're battling with, when it comes down to positions for spots in September and home finals and looking further ahead as the Eagles go inside 50 again. Flynn dropped the mark. It could have been another one to West Coast. Baker is tackled by Sarong and caught.
Yeah, and that percentage is one thing, but it's the message to the players, Andrew Brayshaw, Caleb Tarong and Tracy at three-quarter time brought them in and wanted to make a stance in this last quarter. They did that for the first 20-odd minutes, but just the last 5 or 10 has been West Coast way. So you want to finish your work because it's all going to matter come September if they get there.
Jackson cleverly. Murphy Reid weaving his way. And still taking them all late in the game. Out to O'Driscoll. They drive it in for Voss. The diving mark. Maybe the final kick of Derby 61.
What have you got for the votes, boys?
It's a pretty tight one. Brayshaw, Reid, Young was very good as well.
Will, what's your tip?
Well, hopefully going to have a chat to Hayden Young afterwards. I think he could win it, boys. 3 quarters, 3 goals and 23 touches. Pretty good effort.
The siren sounds to cap another dominant Derby performance by the Dockers as Voss slams through an extra. Fremantle get it done in Derby 61, their highest score of the season as they look towards bigger things. Continue their terrific form this season. They have the luxury of subbing Hayden Young out early on in the last quarter. 9 wins from their last 10 games. Fremantle is still sit a couple of games clear inside the top 8. Months to go in the season. An impressive performance.
It certainly was, yeah. And there's Hayden Young. Well, it is Hayden Young in Erasmus's shirt, but they've had 36 scoring shots to 17, and a few out there probably, particularly in that second term, but in the end it was a dominant performance. Could have well been beyond 10 goals, particularly early. Simo, they had an opportunity to really put the nail in the coffin, but they just weren't able to do so. In the end, it's a really convincing victory, but perfect game. There probably is never a perfect game of AFL footy, but still work for Justin Longmuir and his troops.
Well, there'll be some RFIs to work on, but for the most part, they've had 36 shots a goal, and they've won the clearances by 18 and kicked 10 goals 8 from stoppages. That just doesn't happen too often. So they've made the most of their strengths and their advantage in how deep their midfield actually is, as opposed to a real vulnerability for West Coast. So
let's get down to Will Schofield.
Down here with Hayden Young, boys. You've been sitting on the bench the last quarter, mate. How was that?
Yeah, it was good. It was a bit frustrating at times, but we wanted to play our brand of footy for 120 minutes, and felt like we did that for the majority of the game. We just didn't kick straight. So, but yeah, pleasing result.
3/4 time, the senior leaders got the boys in here. What was said at 3/4 time between the players?
It was just frustration around our scoring, and then we just wanted to keep playing our brand of footy and sort of not worry about the scoreboard and keep valuing the right things. And I feel like we did that. We were able to hit the scoreboard late.
Your second game back, mate. How's your body feeling?
Yeah, good, really good. I'm just building into it. So I was managed today, came off a little bit just to help the legs, but no, feeling really good.
Good. And what about being back around that midfield, a couple of rucks? I mean, you've been out for a long time, mate. How's it feel being back out here?
Yeah, great. The boys have helped me a lot, get me into the game, and I was a bit rusty today, but it's good to get back into the group and build some momentum.
A bit rusty for 3 goals and 23 3/4. Pretty good.
There was some good moments, but I missed a few opportunities, which I'll be flat about.
Okay, mate. Go get with the boys. Well done.
Cheers.
You are watching Super Saturday Live, brought to you by Toyota. Legendary moments. Fremantle with a big Derby win, 49 points to the final margin. They're up to 6 on the ladder with a bit to play out tonight and tomorrow. David King, Jack Rewalt, Jay Clark. Win number 13 for the Dockers as they continue to hunt the finals finish.
Yeah, well, they dominated most of the game, to be honest, and probably just through a lack of ability to kick it through the big sticks. They didn't blow this out earlier. In the last quarter, they kicked 8 goals, and certainly as the game started to wear on, the Dockers showed their strength, and they come away with a nice win and a lot of players in form. 36 scoring shots is a lot, and a lot of players were involved in double-digit score involvements.
A complete fill-up, really.
everyone just get the perfect amount of ball, dominant in all areas and all facets. And wherever the ball went, particularly in the forward half, they were just better, Jack. And you can just see it across the field. So a predictable result in many ways, but I know we're going to talk about Hayden Young, but they built him from 35 minutes last week to 75 this week. It's the perfect preparation for this guy on the trajectory that he's on right now to have a big say in the back half of this season.
West Coast had some encouraging moments. I think cut the deficit to inside 4 goals there in the third quarter. Just a scare for Harley Reid, who was such a focal point throughout the game. Kicked a couple of goals, shushed the crowd, but just a lower leg concern for him in a tackle in the forward pocket. It was help from the trainers. Eventually left the ground unassisted, but he's the big scare for West Coast.
Let's head back down to ground level for the announcement of this year's Glendenning Allen medalist.
To all the fans here at the stadium today and watching on the telly back at home, thank you so much for being a part of RAC Derby 61. Thanks again to the West Coast Eagles, and also, of course, congratulations to the Fremantle Dockers on taking it out today. And a big thanks, of course, to RAC for your incredible support of our favourite rivalry. RAC are passionate advocates for road safety, and the RAC Derby is an example of how partnerships can be used to drive important community outcomes. Now, before we present the RAC trophy to the winning team, we will now award the Glendenning Allen Medal. The voters for this afternoon are from ABC Radio, Peter Bell, from the West Australian, Jackson Barrett, and from Channel 7, Mark McGrath. And I'd like you to put your hands together, please, for Ben Allen to present the Glendenning Allen Medal for RAC Derby 61. So let's get to it. The winner of today's Glendenning Allen Medal, with a total of 8 votes from a maximum of 9, from the Fremantle Football Club, and what a way to come back in front of your home crowd, Hayden Young. Firstly, to the West Coast Eagles, we understand it's been a tough year for you guys, but we really appreciate that derbies are always a great atmosphere and you always come out and give us a great battle, so thank you very much. To our fans, 54,000 today, unbelievable. You guys have been electric all year. We just had a record membership, 62,000 was announced earlier in the week, so we thank you so much for your support and let's keep it going. Congratulations once again to get it done in 3 quarters as well. Hayden Young, everyone. It is now my pleasure to invite RAC President Alan Blagajec to present the RAC Derby Trophy to the Fremantle Dockers.
Just to reiterate, thanks everyone for coming out. Atmosphere was awesome, and thank you to RAC for everything you do for road safety in WA. Cheers.
Once again, on behalf of Fremantle Football Club, the West Coast Eagles, and of course RAC, thanks for being a part of RAC Derby 61 and have a safe trip home.
So a big crowd in the West for a big win for Fremantle, and Hayden Young wraps up the Glendenning Allen Medal in 3 quarters. 3 goals, 23 disposals. How good to see one of the young guns and genuine stars of our competition back in action. And I think that leads us, Jack, into our BP premium performance.
Yeah, he was our BP premium performance, and obviously won the medal in the Derby over there. He was fantastic, and his ability to just give this midfield, David, a different look. I mean, they've obviously got Brayshaw and Sarong in there, the Bulls that win a lot of the ball, but this man's just the class centre forward. It's always been, where do you play him? We started him at half-back, he's been on ball, but his damage in front of the ball today and centre forward, you can see the 3 goals that he was able to kick from 23 possessions and the 7 clearances in only 75% of game time, which you mentioned. It just shows that he's just this little hidden gem, or he's the gem coming into finals that maybe changes the dynamic of this football club and gives them a real chance at going deep into September.
Is he even more than that? Is he the difference maker? Is he the man to stop? I mean, they've got some guns with Sarong, Bolton and Brayshaw, of course, but if you're playing a big final next week, is he the man you have to go to? Do you have to shut out Hayden Young?
Well, I think he's their most damaging mid. I think the fact that he's a left footer too just gives them a different look, because sometimes when a lot of right fielders play in the midfield, you tend to shift the ball one way. He just takes it the other way, and today we saw him actually come out of stoppage or be free in 20 metres of space, and sometimes that's just down to the fact that he's a left footer and gives them a different look.
I think he's confusing things. I think he is their best player.
He is. Shea Bolton at his best.
No, he's better than Shea. He is their best player. He's their number one damaging on baller. He's moved since he's been moved from a half-back flank. He's done what those others you want to compare him to have done. He's now a centre-forward weapon. Every time he gets the ball, you score. They don't win the game last week without him playing that 30 minutes of footy. And again today is more about management than expecting this sort of best-on-ground performance. They would have been thinking, let's just hope he gets through, bank another 70 minutes of footy, and if he has 15 to 20 touches, terrific. He's come out, he's kicked three, he's ripped it to shreds, and they'll be thinking, wow, this is our most important management piece right now in the state of Western Australia.
It is the caveat over Hayden Young, only game 6 this year, that we know that he's had multiple hamstring issues. So it's such a finite. You've just got to be so careful with how they do manage him, but the way he's impacted the game today, a deserved winner.
And to your point, he's the one who takes it through the corridor most often. He's the one who has the ability to pull off those difficult kicks. Because you say that they are too conservative with their play. That's been your concern over them. He's the one who can hit fourth gear and rip it apart through the middle.
Yeah, he's not afraid. He certainly doesn't play a timid brand of footy. Disappointing we didn't have our man Carl to build the presentation.
Carl Langdon.
Like your Carl Langdon, who just does a sterling job of that. I know you talked up the presentation like it was something special. Didn't pan out that way. And Ross Glendenning, well, he just throws up his own winner. He just gives it to whoever he wants to give it to. So we missed a little quirk. He might not have liked Hayden Young. He might like someone else.
Would have liked a bit more suspense with the votes, but hey, can't have everything. Take the win. So Fremantle Dockers 6 on the ladder, 13 wins. They run home Carlton, Port, Brisbane and the Bulldogs. The big one is going to be that Brisbane Lions game, round 23 at Optus Stadium. Just a quick one before we move on to Saturday night football. The MRO news. So Toby Green handed a one-match ban.
Yeah, so he'll miss that game against the Western Bulldogs on Thursday night. What a massive game. This is the hit on Isaac Heaney. It looks a bit of a cheap hit. We love Toby Green. This is the sort of stuff he'd got out of his game. He'd been on his best behaviour this year until this. So that's a frustrated act. Only moments earlier, Isaac Heaney shrugged him off. Then he comes in, he's on edge, and he hits him. Was graded intentional and low impact. That's Heaney saying, you're gone for that, mate. So one match for Toby Green. No punishment for the fat job of Tommy Papley in the halftime interview with Ben Dixon. He said he's overweight. How does he go in the second half? The AFL were unconcerned by that. Which is the right call, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the ramifications of this is that they are playing. There's so many of these little. I reckon there's 5 really important games in these last 4 rounds. And Thursday night versus the Bulldogs down here for the GWS Giants is a big one, and they won't have their captain there. I'm lucky to be a week.
And no Kelly with a calf, and no Jack Buckley with him with a calf as well. So they're 3 big changes. The Bulldogs, I mean, if they're going to make finals, they need to win this on Thursday. This is a grand final. This is an early grand final for the Western Bulldogs.
I think you're letting Toby off too lightly. I'd be furious if I'm Adam Kingsley. I mean, there's a lot at stake. He's their igniter. He's the one that creates the domino effect for Jake Stringer in the forward line. You got to match up Hogan, Cadman, Stringer and Green. It's tough to do. Now, Green won't be there. So now Stringer gets the 3rd best defender. It changes the game significantly. The Dogs lack quality defenders. So that's a huge impact on next Thursday night's opportunity to bank a finals opportunity. They win that game, they're in. It's as simple as that. Lose that game, all balls are in the air again.
And it's hard to win it if you don't make the 4. And that's something that now is up in the air for GWS.
Hey, let's just bring it back to the present, shall we? Let's get into the Fremantle change room. Massive win in the derby.
Sing it.
49 points the final margin. I will not be singing, the players will be.
All right, folks. Hey, there we go. The Dockers, they did it. Big winners today. 18-18, 126, defeating the Eagles at 12-5, 77 Eagles, kicking reasonably straight. Good to see the Dockers got a few goals. I tell you what, 126. 49-point winners here. Great to see they got back on track and they put the foot down in that last quarter. Absolutely ring-a-ding-ding game by the Dockers today. And I tell you what, definitely moved up into 6th position on the ladder. Hey, before we, a happy birthday, Giant Dom YT. It already, well, the West Coast has still got a bit of work to do, but they did give a bit of a fight in periods of that game. So it wasn't as bad as it seemed. Dockers just a little bit too good a team on the day. Let's just quickly duck down, have a look at the goal scorers, etc. before we finish up with this one, because not too far away, we've got the other derby over there in Adelaide. Of course, Adelaide taken on Port Adelaide. Frederick ended up with 4 goals, 1 fantastic effort. Hayden Young, Paddy Voss, Jai Miss, all with 3. Schwakowski got a goal, Reed got a goal, Jackson got a goal, Dudley got a goal, and Shai Bolton ended up with 1. For the Eagles, Harley Reid, not too bad. He was with 2. Tim Kelly played a great game there for the West Coast Eagles with 2. Jamie Cripps also with 2. And Liam Baker. There we go. Liam Ryan and Elijah Hewitt and Tyrell DeWar. Tyler Brockman also singles there for the Eagles. There we go. Disposal getter Bradshaw ended up 32 disposals for the game. The only one in the 30s, Tim Kelly. 26, 8 clearances, 2 goals. Great game from him. Shai Bolton, 25, pretty good also with Liam Baker. There we go. Luke Jackson ended up with 21, got a goal, 12 hit-outs, 6 clearances. Good job by him. Caleb Sarong, just 20 for the day, 8 clearances. Ended up doing his role nicely there for Freo. Harley Reid, 15, 2 goals. Reasonable effort there from him as we just roll down a little bit. Liam Ryan ended up with 11 touches, 1 goal, 3 for the Eagles. A little bit wayward in his kicking, but good to see there. Isaac Dudley, good to see him snare a goal early on in the game also. Paddy Voss, well, with all his anger towards the others, pumping his chest out, he ended up with 9 disposals, 8 kicks, 3 goals, 2 for him. Just look at the team stats. Ended up, well, there we go. Ended up 53 plus to the Dockers on disposal count. Inside 50s, it was plus 14 to the Dockers. Eagles not too bad. 56, 42. That efficiency inside 50, that is just fantastic there for the Dockers. 26, 25 free kick count. All pretty even there as we roll on down. Clearances. Dockers really did a good job on the clearances. They were plus 18. It was all to do around the stoppage clearances, plus 17, plus 1 in the centre clearances. A bit better contested on the ball today. They were plus 23 there. And turnovers reasonably low for the game for both sides, so that was really good. The Eagles actually came out on top in the marks, plus 7, marks inside 50. Both teams 13, 10, double digits, so that was reasonably good there. Looking at the tackles there, look, it was still pretty low for both teams on the tackle count, but tackles inside 50 were really good there for both teams. 13 to the Eagles, which is really good. Dockers 11. There we go. Now, is this, let me see if this loads up. We'll show you where Fremantle sit now on the ladder. They sit 6th on the ladder. 52 points, 111.7 is their percentage. Still a little bit under the Giants and the Hawks percentage, but the good news is winning chicken dinner. That's winner chicken dinner for Freo, and that's most important, is to get the wins on the board. Of course, Gold Coast still with a game in hand. Geelong got to play. Geelong will be playing very, very shortly, I think. They're playing in about 4 minutes' time. That game starts. So expecting the Cats to win. Of course, as I said, the Gold Coast got that game in hand. But the good thing for Freo, they're 2 games clear of 9th. So all going well with Freo, they should cement themselves into the top 8. Just having a little bit of a look at next week's game for these 2 teams with 4 rounds remaining. And of course, West Coast have to travel to Melbourne next week at Marvel Stadium to play Melbourne. And of course, Freo, well, you would expect Freo to have another victory next week. They're playing at home again at Optus Stadium next Sunday. The Dockers are taking on Carlton, which you would expect, you'd expect the Dockers to actually take that game out and truly cement themselves into the top 8. Flag mantle, yeah, it could be flag mantle. Hey, you just never know what's going to happen in the finals. You have a good bit of luck and things go your way. Anything can happen. You've just got to make sure that you got all your game running smoothly, and have a pretty healthy list running into the finals. And then, look, anyone's in there with a chance on any given day. You definitely want to probably increase the pressure up a little bit, up 2 or 3 notches, especially run for the finals. And I'm sure, Freo know about, the finals. You got it's a whole different ball game. So, but look, it's a good time for the Dockers. They missed out. We know they missed out last year, unfortunately, but this year it looks like it's a year to play finals. We just want to hope for the Dockers. If they can't run in the top 4, at least they run 5th or 6th. They can get that home final, which is vitally important, I think, to the Dockers first round, if they do make the finals. So should be fantastic. Should be fantastic. All right, folks. Hey, folks, that's all. We did have the poll. 81% did go for Freo today in the poll. Well done, everyone. We got that one right again. I tell you what, we're a pretty clever bunch. We're a clever bunch here. That keeps moving. There we go. We're a clever bunch here in the chat. We got that one right. Well done, especially when West Coast looked like they were in to play some good footy in the first half of the opening quarter anyway. But, then Freo took it away from them. There we go. But they were really good. 8 goals, 2 in that final term, the Dockers, to 5 goals, 1. So high-scoring quarter in that last quarter. But, look, I think the coach, Freo, will be very happy with that, putting on 8 goals, 2. Absolutely sensational. They didn't stop at all. They kept the foot to the pedal, to the metal, so to speak. That's exactly what you got to do. You don't want to be easing up on teams. You want to be running the games right out. You got to get your form running red hot going into the finals. And that's exactly what they did today. 18-18, that's good scoring from the Fremantle Dockers today. That being said, the Eagles, they kicked pretty straight, 12 goals, 5. But 36 scoring shots to 17, pretty much doubled. It was a good effort there by the Dockers. Well, next 4 and finish. Well, you never know. You might finish top 4. I'll tell you what, Brisbane are looking a little bit shaky at the moment. Let me just go back. Brisbane are looking a little bit shaky at the moment. I think the day is going to be Adelaide Crows, and Geelong. I still think Geelong will probably finish top 4. I think Geelong have got all teams outside of the top 8 to play. They've looked like they've got a super duper soft run home. I think Geelong will probably win every game. All that means is you've just got to keep winning, and you've got to try and keep putting margins on. You've got to try and keep putting margins on. So that's how it goes. You just got to keep winning. Look, the Giants could fall. Hawthorn could fall. I think Brisbane, they're a chance at falling as well. I think Adelaide, Geelong are the other chances to really climb the ladder. But, if you win, you're going to climb the ladder as well. I don't think you'll replace the Pies. I think, the Pies will go a game and a half. They'll go 60. They'll go a game and a half clear of Brisbane and 2 games clear of Adelaide. I think they should have a pretty soft win over Richmond on Sunday. So that sets it up well. Of course, then they've got the big match against Brisbane, I think, next week. So that should be a cracking game at the MCG next week. Who knows what's going to happen there? There we go. I tell you what, the top 8 starting to tighten up. So, we've got to realise that Gold Coast down there, they're pretty well sitting on 52 because they've still got that game in hand, and you would expect them to beat Essendon. Although you never know with Essendon, they might topple. It could all come down to that game how the top 8 forms, and then we all play the finals. like that. All right, folks. Hey, that's all I got for this game. So I will say ciao for now, and we'll probably catch you at the Port Adelaide game, which is the one I think I'll do next. That's coming up. I think that's coming. Oh my gosh, let me just double check that. That's coming up at 8:10 Melbourne time. There we go. In about 50 minutes' time will be the next game. So we'll see you there. All right, folks. Thanks all for coming in. Until that game, ciao for now. Thanks, Jai and Dom YT. Message to Freo. Hate you, Freo. That's, hey, there's always teams we don't like and there's always teams we like. It's just, that's the way footy goes. All right, folks. Well done to all the winners. Commiserations to the team. If your team hasn't won so far on the weekend. But you know what? There's always next week. Always next week. All right, folks. Hey, ciao for now. We'll see you at the next game.